Futures coming off a little bit here this morning, still holding on to positive territory as we get going on a Monday morning. We are still higher to start the week, which is kind of nice. A lot of focus on AI coming up this week. We'll get OpenAI specifically with their event coming up. I'm kind of curious whether or not they just straight up announce the Apple thing right out of the gate. So we'll see when that happens this morning. Lots of rumors floating around that Apple, quote unquote, very close to a deal to with OpenAI to get ChatGPT on the next generation of iPhones. So Apple higher, Google downside a little bit on that news this morning. Still working out their Gemini issues, of course. We'll touch on Microsoft and Apple coming up here, but bigger story, I guess. It's hard to say that, but here's GME this morning, 37% right now to the upside. Nice little uptick right now at 8:30. A little bit of volume coming in there up to $24 on the return of Roaring Kitty. Sharif,
Yes.
how was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. Yep. Got to the Jays game on Friday, and then we took out for Mama's Day yesterday. Some nice dessert there, so it was good. But yeah, Roaring Kitty, first time active since 2021. Breno, here we go again. Yeah, and AMC up in sympathy as well. Yeah, so good luck there.
Yeah, lots to talk about this morning, lots to look forward to coming up this week. We get not one, but two doses of inflation data, both PPI and April CPI coming up this week. So the latest indication of how the overall economy is doing. But if you look at this chart, market doesn't care at this point because we are just a stone throws away here from all-time highs once again for the NASDAQ. I mean, not a huge move this morning. I think it's about 0.25% right now for the NASDAQ specifically. But yeah, as you mentioned, it's 37% right now for GME, 13% right now for AMC. SoundCloud up 3% this morning. Not really related, but one to watch out for as well. But lots of the Bitcoin equities to the upside here this morning also.
Yeah, Bitcoin reclaiming that level over the weekend. Brenda, we saw an aggressive sell-off last week, and we saw notable ETF outflows. So IBIT and some of the other spot ETFs all had net negative outflows on Friday. We'll have to see how they do today. But I'm looking here in the mining names, Coinbase, MicroStrategies, all green, Brenda.
Yeah, lots to consider here. Just looking at Canadian building permits coming through there at 8:30. Again, the bigger, there are a few Fed speakers coming up today as well to keep in mind, but the biggest economic data going to be Wednesday with CPI. We get PPI tomorrow ahead of that, which is usually the other way around. So happy meme stock Monday, guys.
Meme stock Monday. Why not, man? Like, back to it.
Finally.
It's been a hot minute, man. Carvana did like the heavy lifting like all of last year.
Carvana's been around.
All by itself, and then AMC did absolutely nothing. What's interesting is
AMC did lots of stuff.
the actual tweet by Roaring Kitty, like the picture. Zach Morris tried to tweet the same thing out a few days ago to get AMC to go, and it just didn't work. So it goes to show it matters. GameStop gonna make, there it is. I think the only difference was like a different color or something like that. I think he had like blue or whatever, but it's the same nonsense. Yeah. You got to lean in when you're locked and loaded and ready to go. And apparently GameStop is ready to go. It broke through. All last week we're in this name trading because the volatility was there, the volume was there. Now all of a sudden you've got even more eyeballs on it. Some traders on the floor already talking about it, and some options interest around like that 35. But it's going to be a spicy one. We get an OpenAI event at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and that should be interesting. We'll keep our ear to the ground for that. Apple's still on the move. That looks pretty strong as well. You have Jefferies upgrading a bunch of chip names, and then ARM's coming out with their AI thing. They look pretty strong for a long post their earnings as well. So feeling pretty good. I know Brendan just mentioned the Q's near the highs, but the S&P is even closer to their all-time high. Everything is the market's looking pretty strong right now. It's hard to complain. Even Alibaba's gapping up again.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of podcasts ago about buying the Dow Jones and the diamonds, and it's 8 straight up days for that. You know what we also do have? I'm in GameStop right now. I got to get a tea for my throat here. And here it goes, 24.30, nice upside move. We're long at $24 here right now. I feel like you got to be looking here. It's cheap to borrow. It's basically free. You just got to get the shares in our system. So right now we're long on GameStop and long on life because, bless you, we're ready to rock and roll. Sticky note's almost out. I'm going to get a honey. I'm going to get a tea and a honey and open it up, put it in there. and get this all figured out. But right now, 24.30 for GameStop and moving higher. Got Apple on my mind, got a little bit of ARM Holdings on my mind as well, coming through with some more AI talk. It should be a heck of another day, man. I mean, it doesn't stop around here. You know, you get one thing one day with something else the next day.
Yes, sir.
This is the best thing about this job, and we talk about that all the time. Lots of variety of spice. If that's the spice of your life, then you get it in the stock market every single day. It's like
That's the hard truth right there.
You know.
I'm assuming everything went, good weekend, obviously. If you're yelling
everything.
a bunch for...
Every weekend. I mean, every weekend's a great weekend. Spent $1,000 in hockey equipment yesterday, so that was a lot of fun.
Gotta get new digs.
And then spent more money, of course, at the wedding, so that was a lot of fun as well. So that's why we're here ready to make, hopefully, some of that back right now. Daughter needed new skates, and when you're...
Was there a themed drink for the wedding that you were talking?
Oh, they had old fashions, so you would have liked that. And then there was APPL Spritz, which was just something that they were passing around.
Sorry, I like.
I was going with the champagne early, and then they had espresso martinis. So
Well, I mean, that's...
Come on, forget about it, So we were doing that kind of stuff, and then we were on the rooftop patio for a while. This is how we're doing it.
That's good.
Like I'm not just going out just to do whatever. When we go out properly. Anyways, thanks for all the super chats that are coming through. Look, we'll be analyzing the cues. We'll be analyzing all of that. I'm with you already, Michel Hebert, who wants to know all about GameStop. I'm in GameStop right now and don't plan on leaving it. So honestly, how low could it go? Like whatever amount of money, whatever. We'll figure it out, right? We're going to be YOLOing, right? So no, look out for some levels. I have it written down here. I mean, $20 is pretty easy. There's going to be a lot of outs, I feel like. I don't think this is a halt kind of thing today.
No.
I just, I think there's going to be a lot of interest around it, and I feel like it'll be risky to short it until we finally find someone that wants to do that, right? And it might happen here in the pre-market. You might go down on light volume. But I just really think that the best part about GameStop, is today going to be the opportunities for either to play both ends of it. So we'll try to stay long early here. And then, run through these some of these levels and see if we can hit it. You were mentioning 30, 35, so on and so forth as people look at the different option chains, and we'll just figure out what's going on. So we're getting ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Mr. Westermeyer, and we will talk about more of these names as we get going. Plus, do we have Michael Noss normally on Mondays? So
think so.
That should be exciting. We'll see what he thinks. I'm sure he loves GME. He was hating on AMC for the right reasons, and now we'll wait to see what happens here. But yeah, we're excited. Let's go back to the desk.
There's a small difference.
I saw on Friday even he was maintaining his support at 0 for AMC on
I would hope
Twitter. So Michael Loss coming up here in a second. He sent me a note this morning with one word, and it was gold.
I like it.
I guess he wants to talk about gold. There's some positivity in semiconductor land this morning as well. A little bit of a gap to the upside for most of these. That's NVDA, AMD, similar as well. Even Intel, there was a couple of noteworthy mentions here for Intel. They're nearing an $11 billion deal with Apollo for an Ireland facility. So Apollo going to fund the company with $11 billion to build this out.
I mean, there's just more spending from Intel. We know that they're going to spend about $100 billion between 4 different states to build out these foundries, add a new one to the list here, Brendo, out in Europe. We'll have to see how this all pans out. Apollo trades, by the way, on the New York Stock Exchange under APO. They're basically an asset management company looking to invest here with the Intel. Also, KKR said to also be possibly in on this deal.
Yeah, the other end of the spectrum here, Jefferies with a positive note on basically the rest of the group. So, as I mentioned, a little bit of positivity. Intel, the biggest, I guess, at this point, guys.
For now, I'd be a little surprised. If we end up with an update in the market and Intel up 1% is the best of the chip names, I will be a little bit surprised by that notion. That said, for them specifically, like it, don't like it, doesn't really matter. It's just the $30 level, I think, again today. It's already put in that earnings bottom and then held. I always say after earnings, if you put in a double bottom, it starts to look a little bit better. And the higher low was put in right there at 29.80. So another higher low puts you at that 30. Obviously, 29.80 is a bigger level that has to hold on. But let's be real. I mean, NVIDIA gets an upgrade from Jefferies. They're also up, okay, 0.93%. So Intel was what, like a fraction better? The last dip on, look, you had one chance to get these guys after earnings, and that was pretty much it. You're back above the 50, you're trending back higher, looking like it wants to finally take out and close above 910 and get going here. Every single time this has gotten to $910, it's been a reverse. You know, it's just reverse, 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 reverse. Today, I mean, it's Monday. Why not start the week with a break there? I like it. I like the 900 level for like the buy zone, like a dip buy zone. But you know, if it sets up that patented breakout trade, fail break at the open, pop into 920, pull back, don't break the low, and then double top anywhere in near there, I think that sets it up on NVIDIA. But the 900 levels where we close, I think that all roads lead to dip buying into NVIDIA first at that particular price. We'll talk a little bit about ARM. They're in the watch list specifically for their own reasons. But NVIDIA, this should be the day that 910 can actually hold.
Yeah, we were NVIDIA a lot last week. I think there's a good opportunity today to get that back. We had a couple days with $10 winners on this name, and they did involve shorting up here into 912. Last week we had this 912 short right there. And then it fell into 895. We had it on Friday as well. So yeah, there is some support, some resistance up here. But yeah, I'm going to be looking long today to see if NVIDIA can hold into 895. So something like that, 900, something, you know, I really like these levels here for NVIDIA. So let's see what happens. But yeah, that's going to be my chip play. Not super excited about Intel. I mean, when we trade it and we generally make money. So I'm fine with doing that. We did have a great trade on it last week, again to the short side. So all I want to do for this is short. I don't want to go long Intel. So I'll probably be waiting for 3050s, 31s. Like if we can really get going for some reason there, if it wants to go up a couple percentage points, I feel like if the market does ever turn around, which it's not doing right now, then Intel will be one of the ones that gets picked on the most. So we'll be looking for that, and then just to see what AMC is doing. We got more shares, by the way, of GameStop, and right now AMC is 3 and change, up 14. So this is going to be, if you don't believe in all this meme stuff, I would short this one, because this being up on nothing is a little bit different than this being up on something. So we'll wait to see what happens here. Just took more shares of GameStop. We're ready to go. And I hope you guys are as well. So back over to the desk.
All right, we'll wait on Mr. Noss. He's on his way. Market back to almost session highs here now, 0.25% for the S&P. The NASDAQ following suit here as well. This is a pretty wild-looking wick on this chart, but Apple up 1.25% here. Again, this OpenAI event coming up today, but we'll probably hear about it throughout the entire day. I wouldn't be surprised if there was details coming out throughout the day, even before this happens. But do they or do they not just right out of the gate say, hey, we're going to be on iPhones?
I feel like it's going to happen. I mean, Altman was doing the rounds on the weekend. He was on the All In podcast. He had good things to say, but the iPhone, which caught my attention, and then I come in this morning, and all of a sudden there's an Apple headline. So we'll have to wait and see about that. He was on there for an hour. It was a very interesting interview. Go back and have a listen to that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what we get. But it's not only OpenAI that Apple's been talking to. Last week or the week prior to that, we heard rumblings about them wanting to incorporate Gemini, Google Gemini, in certain aspects of their system. Widely expected there's going to be AI upgrades to iOS 18. Expected at WWDC, Brendan?
Yeah, remember we have this I/O event for Google coming up as well, just around the corner here. So this doesn't actually show the gap, but gapping higher here, guys. 1.25 right now for Apple.
Yeah, remember like on Friday, like Apple essentially just gave up the entire move from Thursday. So at the end of the day, like you're just right back to where it seems like everything, I want to say ended, but that's where it started on Friday. Because when you had that news, you're going to find resistance at 185. I love the fact, look, obviously everyone's going to be waiting around for June. And that's when things are going to get real for Apple, when we get some real nuts and bolts. But integration in the iPhone, everybody knows that's a big deal. Their own AI chip, that's been sort of long time coming as well. But the stock went from the penalty box to now you got a nice little bull flag. This is not going to go meme crazy or anything. Apple's not going to trade like that. Let's be real. But if you're holding at 50 and now you're starting to break back out those tops, 185, as long as we can hold that, there's that crazy wick Brendan was talking about there. That's a dark pool wick. If you got 165 today, you're absolutely laughing. 185 has to hold. If we don't hold 185, the only other long I'm interested in would be right down and in that previous close price at 183. So it's going to be a very early test of a key level, resistance and a support. That's one of my favorite things out there, is when you have a key brick wall, it gets punched through, and then the buyers are like, yeah, that's where we're going to pick that one up. I think that's where you look today on Apple. I'm looking for the long in them. The only the only big level out there in terms of resistance is that 187 that got put in. I guess that was like on the third there. So Apple looks pretty good for a long. I like them over Google today. I mean, Google looking a little bit weak, or Alphabet looking a little bit weak. Their event's on Tuesday. That's going to be one to watch. And the good news about that is we're going to already have the OpenAI event today, and then we'll see what Google has in store for theirs.
So on Friday, we did a Q&A on, of course, everybody's favorite show. I think it's also Michael's favorite show. We can ask him. He's going to be on very, very soon. The market recap show, where Adara and I had a Q&A, and someone asked me, what sector do I like over the next couple months? And I said gold. So we came into that. I like the pullback into this level, 215, 210, 212, right there. And I didn't, no problem. This was not expected. I had no idea. I hope Michael talks positively about GLD and not the other way around. But I was thinking taking advantage of even just the recent pullback, and let alone maybe even today as we just starting to, be flat. But I like gold. Let me hear why with Michael. But we've got already on right now another one of our favorites here on the show. We've got GameStop right now trying to take out close to back into highs. We just averaged in, man. So let's see what happens here with GameStop. So from GameStop to gold, pick your poison here. As there goes GME right now. We're starting the day off real good. But hey, it is a day that ends in Y. Let's go back over to the desk as it's... This is the loudest it's going to be in here today, I feel like.
I feel like it's a little
let's go. Everyone's excited for Mr. Noss.
2 thumbs up.
I don't know what's doing this, but
There it is. Hey.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a Mac thing or what's going on.
Built-in AI. Happy Monday, sir. I was just reading a note suggesting that NVDA and gold, the two best hedges against inflation so far this year, if you zoom out to a higher time frame chart. But yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, it was great leading into the end of the year, and it's been great ever since. So give us your thoughts here on gold.
Yeah, I feel like a boomer here because you guys are talking about AI and Apple and chips and all this stuff, and I'm here looking at gold. So first of all, this scan that I'm bringing you, this is something that's near and dear to my heart because I built this, and this is a relative strength system. We've back tested this against many market conditions. It held up great through the last bear market. It held up great during the pandemic. Continues to outperform just the market overall. And the idea here is it's just using a series of indicators that you guys all know, MACDs and moving averages and RSIs and things like that. And it's ranking stocks by this combination of indicators that I put together. And it's saying, this is the strongest stuff and this is the weakest stuff. And the idea is, if you buy the strongest stuff, you generally outperform the market. I think it's JC that always told me, he said, hey, if you want to be in the strongest stocks, just buy the strongest stocks, right? And the beauty of this and the power that we have at Trade Ideas is it's constantly doing this every 30 seconds and just spitting out over and over and over again what it's thinking by all of these indicators that are ranking. And this is looking at a swing or even longer term time frame. And I just highlighted a few right here because the top one was PHYS, which I'm going to talk about, is a very special and something that my buddy Steve likes as a gold ETF. I AUM is another gold ETF. OUNZ is another gold ETF. So it was just printing gold after gold after gold. And to be honest, a lot of you guys who've been following the show for a length of time know that I've liked gold for the last year, 2 years now. But seeing all of these show up on this scanner, that's telling me a couple things. One, it's saying, hey, gold is really strong right now. We should take another look at it. But B, it means that there's some institutional money flowing into gold. I don't know if that means, like Brendan was talking about, more inflation or what's going on there, but it means that's where the guys are going. So back to chart here. We'll go to the monthly chart of gold. This is the main reason why I like gold. I know we're day traders or short-term swing traders, but I always like to take a step back. This is the chart that I've been looking at for a long time. This giant cup and handle going all the way back to 2012. Talked about this many times with Sean on what is my favorite show, the After Hours show, talking about how we're looking to have this breakout occur. It did, and this is where we are. Now, if you do a measured move of this cup and handle, which is just the low of the cup to the high of the breakout, that takes us to like 350, I think, ish in the GLD index. We still have a long way to go. Doesn't mean we're going to hold it all that time. It means we're going to focus on the long side until maybe that objectives occur. Into the weekly chart, next chart down, same kind of thing occurred. Before we got that breakout, we had this big cup. We had a clearly defined resistance area. We broke that as well. And now let's get into the daily chart and see what's going on kind of currently. Gold had that spike, had a great trade, and now for the longest time has just been chopping sideways here. So what I like about this is these purple lines, I'll explain them. The bottom one is from the breakout. We had a high volume breakout. I anchored a VWAP there. And then I also anchored a VWAP at what's the all-time highs. As long as it's under that anchored VWAP from all-time highs, I'm not really interested in it because we have that overhead supply that I think could be a problem. We had a breakout on Friday. I haven't really had a chance to look at it right now, but we had this breakout on Friday. So my idea is that as long as we can hold that anchored VWAP, which is sitting around, I think 217, 216, basically Thursday's high. As long as we can hold above that, I like the look of gold and I want to focus towards gold. And there's a couple things, couple stocks that we can look at as well. If you don't want to just buy the index, there's nothing wrong, especially with a commodity, just buying the index. If you want to go in and look under the hood, here's some names that are interesting. So the next chart is actually this PHYS. And I didn't know this. Steve, who was covering me a bit when I was away there, actually taught me this one. So this is good, I think, if you're trying to hold this for the very long term. So the difference between PHYS and GLD is PHYS, you pay a little bit more in management fees, but they have independent third auditors that they go in. They actually have a vault somewhere. That's why it's called the Physical Gold Trust. So people go in, they look at the bars, they make sure that the amount of gold that this company says it has is confirmed, and they do that check periodically. So if you want to make sure that some sort of crazy inflation or disaster or whatever, that you're actually buying something that they have gold on the other end, this is the way to go. I'm just assuming that they're probably going to charge you a little bit more to do that, but this is good, especially for the doomsdayer out there. So just a couple of charts that I like. Again, if I like the commodity, I'm going to look at some of the miners and people who may profit off that commodity going higher, and I'm going to sort those by relative strength. So here we have AGI, which is Alamos Gold, nice Canadian company. You can see the Canadian flag up there. Nice little breakout of this 1550 area. Just a very simple wedge type pattern. Broke that. I'm looking to see if it holds that area. Neil was talking about it when I was in the green room. I love when an area gets broken and it comes back and tests that as support and that holds. I think that's great. And then last but not least, here we have CDE. So this is a little bit of a cheaper one. Just broke out the other day. That yellow horizontal line or yellow vertical line is the earnings date. So we've broken out. That earnings date was obviously strong, pushed up, and we broke that on this mining stock. I picked this one because it's a little bit cheaper. It's $5 a share. I know there's some people out there who like the cheaper names. This might be one to take a look at.
On these charts, as you've mentioned many times, that bottom left corner, you get that monthly look. Yeah. I mean, 200%, this one 90%. If you go into the individual equities, like these have had huge, huge moves here in the past little while.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone focuses on NVIDIA. Everyone focuses on the chip names. I actually saw a chart that I thought I forgot to bring. I thought it was funny, showing you that like I think it was Domino's Pizza has actually outperformed NVIDIA in the long run. So sometimes it makes sense to look at stuff in the headlines, and sometimes it makes sense to kind of hunt elsewhere. And sometimes you get these quiet trends that other people aren't really talking about.
You'll never be pizza, man. Like, come on, it's pizza.
Exactly.
Great stuff. Thank you, Mr. Noss. Happy Monday. We'll speak again after the close.
All right, I'll talk to you then.
Yeah, no, like there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's 100% true. Like if you're looking for trading opportunities, you can't just look in one spot, right? Like today, there's going to be a lot of meme stocks moving, and maybe some Chinese ADRs, and obviously, when the chip names are going, they've been the hot flavor. AI's been a big deal. You're essentially just following. I don't want to say following the crowd, but you want to be riding the right wave. Now, obviously, you can pick any starting point and be like, oh, this stock has done better than that stock, or yada, yada, yada. But you also have to find your comfort zone. I think that's really important. And remember, day trading, swing trading is always going to be a little bit different, right? Like one of the reasons why day traders are going to like NVIDIA on a daily basis has a lot to do with volume and liquidity. On a day like today, where GameStop is going to do extra volume and volatility, you don't mind going over there because you have the expectation that you're going to be able to express your trades well. AMC, which has done absolutely nothing, has already done like 7 million shares. It's going to do more volume today. Like that's why you gravitate towards it. So it's not a knock on Domino's Pizza. It's great long term and probably a good opportunity for some swing trades. For day trading, it's not a stock that you're usually going to be able to get into. So we also have to have that extra factor, which is going to be liquidity. I've been basically trying to get locates. We keep getting a quote on them here at Real Trading of like less than 1 cent a share that I want to lock in for AMC. And we talked about this one last week, and I know Sean mentioned it as well. The 50 period's been an absolute brick wall. And if GameStop continues to go higher and this can't get past like 360 and 375, I think that's going to be the easy fade. I always like in Memeville, I want there to be the one that's moving it, and then I want something that I want to play in the other direction when you have fades. And then that way, if GameStop is falling and breaking down, you can just be short over an AMC, or it used to be COS, but COS's volume is so, the COS is going to go and it'll be up just 100% on sympathy, like it was one of the meme stocks back then, and now it has no business, I don't think, being in that category. The issue with this is going to be liquidity. So I think there's liquidity on AMC to be able to express those trades. I'm not sure we're going to find it over there on cost, which used to be my go-to. Let's get on over to some upgrades and downgrades with Adara.
Lots of interesting names to talk about this week. We're starting with a pre-earnings play. Cisco getting an upgrade here from XA and BNP Paribas. Jefferies now upgrading both AMD and NVIDIA as part of its overall bullish long-term upgrade for the semiconductor sector. AMD getting a price target decrease, though, from 200 to 190, while NVIDIA got a price target increase from 780 to 1200. So nice look for both of these names. MasterCard getting an upgrade as well from Piper Sandler. For the downgrades, this is another one from Jefferies Financial and its overall look at the semiconductors. Applied Materials getting the downgrade out of the group. Penn Entertainment getting a downgrade from BofA Securities here, trading a bit lower. Solar Edge also gapping down a little bit after this downgrade from Susquehanna. Last but not least, we have actually Equity Residential getting a downgrade from Evercore ISI, guys.
AMD catching that upgrade. Look, a lot of things got shellacked on Friday, but AMD held the bottom end of this range, like whatever you want to call that. I guess it's like a bear flag, I guess is the name of that term. So that's what it put on. 152, is that correct? I guess that's correct. I said it right there, Sharif. There you go. Well, I know what a bull flag looked like, so I guess it's just the reverse. What it tells you is just a consolidation and a downward pattern. And 152.5 was a wall all afternoon. That's where the short was. It was a good one. And now all of a sudden, you have the same high pre-market on an upgrade into a strong market. I just think this one, it sets up pretty well here. Like if it's just going to take out this top, I might as well draw the line there for you guys. If it just takes out this top, you got a lot of room to rally over there on AMD. So Jefferies liking a lot of the chip names this morning. It's really not a big deal. They pretty much upgraded a few of them. Just pick out AMD because they were the ones, even on the daily chart, that it pulled back. I want to say the furthest. Well, Intel's on its own, but of the good ones, they're the ones that have pulled back the furthest. And so any push to the upside can go really far percentage-wise when you consider the damage that was already done to AMD down around this 200-period moving average. So like that 152.5 right off the open.
All right, we got some more GameStop up in there. Nice to see Michael Noss there. I like that bull case there for gold, so that should be really good. Yeah, just long GameStop right now. Still waiting for NVDA to come through. We'll talk about Apple. We've got a whole bunch to go. Make sure you get our watch list, tradertv.live, as we continue to watch a lot of these names. A name that's on the watch list, and that's in my long-term account, we've talked about this a couple times, Alibaba with a nice break today, again above 80. So we really like this name. It's starting to go higher and higher and higher here. So far so good for Alibaba for those logs. You guys remember me pounding the table on this one at 71, 72 bucks. We talked about that over and over again. We definitely got into that, went up to 78, came back. We did not buy that most recent dip, which was the problem. But these levels into here, 71, 72, that kept holding. Now it looks like Alibaba's off to the races ahead of earnings this week. So I'm really excited for that. And yeah, we had AMD written long, 150 on the other day as well. We lost on it on Thursday, I think it was, trying to get 152.
What happened with NVIDIA just now?
I don't know. Is NVIDIA doing something?
It just dropped. NVIDIA just dropped like $7 here, guys. Yeah, dropping through 900
I mean, the market's going.
Market's starting to go, but this feels like it was NVIDIA.
Everyone's buying GameStop, that's why, I guess.
AMD just dropped as well a little bit, so yeah, I guess everyone likes the meme stocks and like
9 o'clock. Yeah,
No,
Apple. I
obviously
mean,
something
Apple's
just
not doing anything.
It looks like it's just the chips that are heading into the downside here, guys.
I might want to buy this.
AMD and NVIDIA both popping, dropping a little bit here. The 900 level just got taken out. Probably ARM as well moving. The Q's only down a couple of points. So this is very chip related, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let's. I mean, it just fell. NVIDIA fell into the sticky note is now out. Obviously, this falls into 900, but don't really know what's going on here. So we'll hold on. But a nice move down in some of these names here for the chip space. I guess watch out for 900.
That's commission. Financial juice.
On a Monday, keep in mind, few Fed speakers to watch out for today. We have this OpenAI event as well. Let's kick it off with a look at the market.
52.46, guys. That's where we ended up closing out on Friday. Just a smidge below that 50-point level. We're above it right now. So we're printing in the 57s, the overnight high, 52.61. So if we defend 52.50, let's look for that next level of resistance. I'm going to say it's at 52.75, owing to how we did in early April. If we give up 52.50, let's look at 52.25 as that level of support.
If you have not got that yet, make sure you do so. Go to the website, tradertv.live. That pop-up will appear. You just enter your email address, and then you get the watch list delivered right to your inbox every single morning. It's an AI meme stock kind of a day. Apple upside here to the tune of more than a full percent. Struggling with this 185.50 area, though, which if you zoom out back to last week, you'll see why. But yeah, this OpenAI event coming up this weekend, lots of talk over the weekend that Apple is going to announce that some sort of integration between the two, ChatGPT on the iPhone, which would be a big deal, obviously, for Apple, but also for Microsoft and OpenAI. So Google downside, worth noting.
No question about that, Brendo. So my hope is here that it manifests something into the version that we all wanted of Siri, the one that you can interact back and forth with. Because right now, when you do that with ChatGPT, you can actually have a conversation with the LLM. Let's see if that can translate into voice. We'll find out more information about that. But I got to recall that Google was also in talks with Apple to incorporate Gemini. So some conflicting reports coming out here, Brendo.
Yeah, lots of opinions on or from analysts on this as well, including the Forever Bowl Dan Ives coming out, Wedbush's Dan Ives saying he believes that this will open up many AI-based revenue opportunities for Apple. So about to take out the highs here, or trying to at least, guys, for Apple.
Here we were in NVIDIA there, and then it went all the way down and broke 900, and then it came right back up, and then we got the news about Chinese regulators tell local firms to buy fewer NVIDIA chips. Again, probably another BS China story. If you followed China stories with Apple, you got rinsed. If you followed again here, you'll probably get rinsed too. So, and I just said, you know what? If it's going to come back up and we can get out for flat, that's exactly what we'll do. So I'll consider that a win right there. Going long against 900, finding bad news, and then being able to watch it basically go all the way down here to rip right back up and to get out for flat. I was like, okay, we'll take that. All right, so the number one trade today on the sticky note is going to be Apple, right? So we were long this all last week. We love Apple. We've talked about this. We recently bought some sub 170. Debating getting out as we get a little bit closer to the, as for me, I like the stock. But for right now, we have Apple 184 written down here. I mean, that's going to be for, you know, that's like my, all right, now let's get down to business level. But at the same time, I just think that there's too many positive catalysts heading into this conference, right? Here goes GameStop, by the way. We got more shares, by the way, there. We like the stock, you know. But here we go. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now. I mean, that's probably, we could get out now and it might be the biggest trade. So we'll wait to see what happens. I don't want to get out at all. Apple right now, 185.50. Obviously, it's cruising to the north side. The markets also ran up here, so I'm going to be conservative. You have 184.50 right there as a level. I don't know what's going to happen early, but I do know that we have to buy dips into VWAP pretty much at all times today for Apple. I think Apple's going to beat the market, and I'm already bullish on the market. So as long as we can stay in and around VWAP, we'll see how it reacts to that. Apple could put you to sleep for a minute, but I like it. There's no breakout levels for me. We're already sort of here. So let's just play dips on Apple. It is the number one idea here on the sticky note. But, I mean, GME's number two. And GME's the only stock that we're in. And right now, welcome to the Dollar Club already right there on GameStop. I'm still going to hold for a little bit higher.
Yeah, GameStop
25.50, maybe I can get out of
20. I think 28 on the daily was like the next level to the upside. It's like 20 on the bottom, 28 even on the top side of GameStop. So its range could be huge. Still can't get AMC. I think what's happening is the locates probably getting repriced because there's a lot of demand for shorts on these names for day traders. So they're probably adjusting the price of AMC shorts. So we're going to try and get those locates because I want to have them by the open. Apple, look, we were talking about this one, I guess, before we did the rundown, 185. It just has to hold on to this line at the open. It's already support pre-market. If it were to dip lower, I'll like every single even dollar, but the 183 would be that's the Alamo today on them. But I'm looking long in this bull flag on the daily that you got here on Apple. I don't want to be looking short on this name. It would have to be at like $190 before I'd be thinking about that short. If it fails 185, I think you're just going to have to be patient. If it can't hold on to that at the open, then don't stand in front of the moving, freight train or dropping, whatever you want to call it, falling knife. Just wait around. 184 was a resistance level right away at the open, and I like resistance into support, turning into support. So I look at that level first, then the previous close sits at 83. Like, it doesn't get any more simple than that. Like, every even dollar is a place to find a go zone. For Apple today, yeah, it's not that complicated.
All right, here's the other end of the spectrum here then for this open AI deal. Here's Google just made session lows right now, 164.50 downside in the pre-market. Microsoft not really doing a heck of a lot as far as price action is concerned compared to the other two, but it is higher to start things off.
Yeah, so widely anticipated here that we're going to get some Apple news at this event. But there's other things to talk about, guys. Altman was on the All In podcast last week, and he was pressed on when ChatGPT 5 is going to be available. He said they don't even know if they're going to call it that. And the timetable for its release, is really unknown at the moment. So a lot of unanswered questions about what is next from OpenAI. I'll definitely be all ears today.
Yeah, remember going back to Friday, we had this huge move up in Google, and that was on those comments from Sam Altman suggesting that today is definitely not about OpenAI or ChatGPT 5, and it's also not about anything search related. So into the close, we had the move higher on Friday. Here we are gapping lower on the Apple news.
Yeah, look, I mean,
that OpenAI, yeah.
Google's is
let's go.
It's like the weakest. It's the only thing down. Like, they're down 2.5%. Like, that's not fantastic for them, obviously. And I'm pretty bullish on the market. I think mostly along ideas, but it's going to be hard to ignore. 162 was a wipeout bottom when they essentially said, "Hey, by the way, Apple's not going to have that news like right away at the open or on Monday." When that got pulled back, 166 is where it was at, and 166 was support. Today, that looks like a resistance level on Google. But it's just, there's a good long opportunities out there. I feel like if this does try to go green, that's probably come way too far, and you don't want to fight it. So I think the 66 would be the only place I'm looking for a short. And I need some market weakness. If the market's weak, this would be the one I go to. But it wasn't at the top of my list to be shorting Google. Their event's going to be tomorrow. Not much to see in terms of Microsoft and levels. Didn't necessarily love anything I saw there. But it is trying to break out the 420 if you are watching. 415 doesn't look that bad either. Last week's resistance, dipping back in on Microsoft. Not a lot of bearish-looking chart ideas. Google's pretty much the only one out of that big cap tech that doesn't look all that great. I guess Tesla, but I almost don't count Tesla these days.
No, I mean, I really like trading Tesla.
I like Tesla.
We've done pretty good on Tesla, but you know what we just did pretty good on right now? You got to ring the register right here. There's $1 and change. We just got, again, we're in it 3 times now. So we already talked about this possibly being a big trade down here, let alone now we've added more shares. So we'll have to take something out. It just came back right up to the top. It's already been up here. The volume's fine. It's not, the thing about this is the volume's not really picking up right now. But here it goes again. Let's go. I mean, I didn't look at Google or at Microsoft today. I'm too bullish. I wrote it down. I mean, the word bullish is on the top of this. I don't really want to look at Google if it's going to be down here. So we'll hold off on my Google thought and just transfer it all over to stocks that are moving in a direction that I want to play with, right? So right now, all my attention is pretty much on GameStop. So I do have ARM is trade idea on here as well. So when we get to that, I'll have a little bit to say about ARM.
Get 3 days in a row here up nicely in the pre-market, actually testing highs right now for ARM on this. $64 billion investment coming from SoftBank. Yeah, AI chips to come. This part is pretty interesting, as soon as next year from ARM.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Yeah, so looking for the prototype in mid-2025 and then actual production by the end of the year. You'll know that ARM is specifically designing chips that work better with mobile devices because they take less energy. So this is going to be really good if they get into the AI side of things. We'll have to see exactly how they do. They are also, Brendo, looking to build out chips for data centers as well as mobile. So
yeah, this is clearly SoftBank's move into the AI realm. I don't think there is an OTC listing for SoftBank. It's over in Japan, but wild stock if anyone wants to pull up the chart of SoftBank as well.
So I'm pretty familiar with it. It's SFTBY. So there is one in OTC, but it's just to give you guys the reference here. Brendan's right. I mean, the volume, it's not huge in this, but there is an ADR. So this is SFTBY. So you can have a look at that. I'm not expecting too much, but we have ARM written down here. And again, the thing about ARM is it's been really well received off earnings. So in order to defend that, it's like, why not? I mean, this level of breakout of 110 seems to be real, and now you're getting more news. We talked about some AI positivity today other than Google. There's an OpenAI event. ARM's in the right space. We know all about them. And yeah, I mean, breaking through this $110 level seems to be pretty good to me. I wrote down here, and again, remember, I'm writing this when we're at 112. Now we're all the way up at 114. So we talked about trying to get into 110 again. So if it does that, and you're trading ARM, it's a pretty must-long area. I mean, it's just the levels there on the daily. We had that breakout right now. So yeah, I mean, if we were under here, it would be a smash long. So now that we're above it, it's a dip long. So that's those are the ideas there for me on ARM. And again, we did already take that dollar on GME.
Yeah, when I sat down, I was pretty convinced we'd get the 110. Because it was only at that 112. And then on top of that, like you have NVIDIA go to the downside and ARM doesn't blink. Now, obviously, it's a very specific thing, like China to NVIDIA at the end of the day. But it didn't do anything with regards to ARM. Like it dipped down like maybe 60 or 70 cents. So I don't know if we'll get that 110, but 112 on ARM. If you go all the way back to when it failed 110 on the way down, there was 112 pretty much in the middle of the day that was resistance. It would have been right on this day here, April 18th. On the way down, 112 was kind of like a resistance level in there. So I feel like going back into that level can work at the open if you're going to go dip buy hunting. So those are the two places. Makes it pretty easy. 110, 112 where the players dwell. Obviously, AMD and NVIDIA, that news kind of changes things for them, but it doesn't look like it's changed anything for ARM, so that stays along.
It'll be long NVIDIA.
English. Wow. We'll talk about semiconductors here to the upside this morning, including, Jefferies with a positive note for the entire group, as we saw on the upgrades and downgrades board this morning. With that flush, though, from that NVIDIA headline, all of these, AMD back to flat here, NVIDIA basically the same.
Yeah, Jeffrey's giving the nod to almost every single microchip semiconductor name, for the exception of a couple. They had Intel on hold, not buy or outperform, as well as AMAT. You saw that on the upgrades and downgrades today with Adara. They got the downgrade, so not a good look here for Applied Materials.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Blue Chew. Guys, remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in convenient chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up today. BlueChew.com. Use the promo code TraderTV. Consult with one of their licensed medical providers and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor's visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Try Blue Chew for free. Pay $5 shipping. BlueChew.com. Use promo code TraderTV.
Yes, sir. And look, the chip names, it is what it is. Like that news on NVIDIA. I was just checking out Zeekr, by the way, which is, it's making moves, but I went to look at the volume on that new IPO. New IPOs are always pretty low volume, but that's not great on that Zeekr. I think it's going to be a tricky one, especially in the pre-market. I wouldn't want to touch ZK. But NVIDIA, so far, it looks like they're not caring too much about the China news. You're down slightly from where we were. It was 1% up, and we're trading just in front of that 910 level, and you're back into the 905. So I think it gets put to the test. I mean, at the end of the day, it was, can it set up a breakout above 910 anyways for NVIDIA? And that's essentially where we're still right back to. So I think you just got to go right back to that. Well, it looks like it's held the 900 for now. You're a little more cautious, I think, here. Like, I already liked ARM. ARM doesn't have the bad news that you just got going on out of China there. You have to worry about with NVIDIA. And I would say this does change AMD's outlook a little bit here, as that's not recovering the same way that NVIDIA did. So NVIDIA pretty much right back to where it was. AMD holding down and around those lows. So I think they might actually be in a little bit of a penalty box. It was specific to NVIDIA news, but this isn't getting bought up as much. So all of a sudden, I don't really like AMD as much as I'm going to like ARM and NVIDIA here today, unfortunately, because AMD probably had the easier looking breakout level, but the fact that they're not buying this back up the same way, makes me want to be at least at a minimum patient with it. You got to be able to react to the news and the way the stock's reacting to the news.
Yeah, we had NVIDIA written down here as 900 on the sticky note, and this doesn't even require really too much talk. Simple and easy, buy dips into 900. So that's exactly what we did, and then that news happened, and then I considered myself lucky to get out. So not lucky P&L wise, because it's now a $5 winner, but at the same time, well, $4.50. But at the same time, I feel like that's proper risk management when news like that hits. So we'll be sad about NVIDIA for now, and we will change our mind about buying that 900 dip, because now that there's that news there, although we did hold, it's just not really worth seeing the market reaction. There's so many other things to trade. I mean, you can see right now what's happening. So we're still in love with this GameStop position, and we're going to wait to see what happens here as it now takes out brand new. I mean, we have things for this one right now. It's called A, making money, and B, we get to go to the moon right here and see what happens now with AMC as well, as there goes GME right now, brand new. Congratulations, everybody. This was the very first trade. I sat down, punched the keys, we went live, looked at GameStop, boom. So we're in this one from 8:30. Not only are we in it once, we're in it thrice. So let's see now what happens here with GameStop going higher and higher. like 10% in the, well, we're long at 20. So yeah, almost $2 on 24. So 8% or so in the money on this position and looking to go a lot higher. I said already when we first went in this is probably going to be the trade. So now let's just see, we're in it. You can get out if you want to now. We'd already be having probably one of these kind of days, the trophy day, but we're gonna wait to see if we can have multiple trophies on board. Thank you, Randy.
Thanks,
I did already have a banana, but potassium is definitely
It's important.
fantastic.
I went with the tangerine myself.
Yeah.
We have fresh fruit now with the office.
Yeah,
well, we
yeah.
always had
we brought it
had
back.
it,
But I will take some more coffee if you have a possibility for doing that.
yes, please.
Cheers,
Appreciate it, bro.
my guy. All right.
All done.
There we go, man. Yeah, Michelle Hebert says, be greedy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to be, and that's why, like, we're here to trade these names. We've seen it before. Like, it's experience. Hopefully, many of us, just a couple of years ago, had seen moves like this, and we've seen it with Carvana. We've seen it with a lot of names happening here. So, you know, we're pretty familiar with it. We'll just sit here and do what we do best. So, back over to the desk.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to talk about when it comes to this, but let's touch on it real quick. If you missed it, what a difference a image makes, I guess. For Roaring Kitty back on social media for the first time since 2021 has not only GME taking out the highs right now, but all of these former meme stocks upside in a big way here.
Yeah, DJT, KOSS, AMC, keep your eyes on those names as well. We know Carvana, W also can go. These are all some of the meme names here, but GameStop was running before Roaring Kitty mentioned it or came back on X. Now I think GameStop is up 60% on the month of May, Brendo, with a good last couple of weeks.
Just checking trade ideas here. Yeah, trade ideas saying 24% still short on GME, guys.
Is that a mustache on Sharif? I wasn't sure what was happening over there. Okay, okay.
Mustache.
I see it. But it's not November. No, okay, it's not November. All right, all right.
Well, he's maybe growing it into
yes,
November.
yes, very smart, very
You
smart.
got to have one.
Yeah, because Sharif needs to wait like 5 months to grow a mustache. Come on, Neil. I mean, that's like a Friday shave.
I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating.
GameStop, by the way, now.
But it can't be up 60% since whenever he said if it's up 50% today. That doesn't make any sense.
No,
so like, yeah, it doesn't.
It's beginning of May it was $10, so it's up
that's
300%.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's up significantly more than that. Is GameStop? You got to pull out a weekly chart if you want to find the next bag hold breakout level. Because that's at $28, I think it was. $28. Or I call it like 27, 28. This little wick in here on the weekly chart is 27.70, and then in here resistance at like $28. So that looks like it's going to be the line in the sand. I have a theory about AMC shorts in that we might not get them until the market opens up. I don't like chasing these. My Alamo's $20 on this stock today, so I needed something within 10% of that. So that would be the $22 level. I do think usually when this happens, you get a pullback at the open. And now that we're so far away from 20, the only level is this 22.5. So you get 22.5. These are dark pool wicks. Who cares about those? 22.5 was support, and then the 20 levels of breakout. If there is a pullback and I have locates on AMC, that's the stock that I want to be short. There's your top there, like 375. As long as it hasn't broken that, if there's any significant dip on GameStop, I'd go over to AMC. But as yet, don't even have locates on that name at all.
Okay, we sat down here, the cameras turned on, and I just punched long, just so everybody would be able to see that we're going long on GME. And that's exactly what happened. I woke up, I saw the headline, I tweeted it out myself. There you go. You know, you talk about coming in, you know, planning your day, having a plan of action. We want to be long GameStop. We're not doing anything else. What's the point to look anywhere else for now for me? So we're going to stay long on GameStop. And you know what? We already got a piece out here at 25.30. It just went to 26.50. I mean, where this name could stop, it's kind of stupid to look at charts, to be honest with you, right now. I mean, unless you're going to play pullbacks and stuff like that, because like where could we go? I mean, that's 31.30. Right here is 28. So I mean, I guess I shouldn't. You know, 28 could be a level. So that's one thing, you know. But then what I'm saying is, like, if you take out a piece there, I mean, if it breaks 28, then I would say you're going to 30, right? And then after that, I mean, that wick high on this one day, whatever was going on here back in October 2022, that ripped up to 35 on a 30 break. So it still closed lower. So the thing is like, I would guess 28. I'm actually at 30 right now. So let's wait to see. I think we could get to 30 maybe right off the open and then a potential pullback. So here we go, man.
Not everyone can buy yet. That's the thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, it could be absolutely a moonshot even from here. And we're already $2 in the money. So there you go. Could be the trade of the day already, Neil.
Yes, sir. And the thing about the meme
Brenda?
stocks is that's how they roll. Like the intention's going to be on them when it deserves to be. Like it started last week, and I think it's continuing in here.
You know, the thing
today.
about Brendan is, in the last 5 years, he got 5 years younger.
Well, Brendan somehow manages to not age, and he gets the fresh haircut every single day. It seems like he's got the nice fade going pretty much at all times. Let's go on to the
There
best
must be
stash
some
in the
nice
business.
freedom and wealth over there.
It must be. Let's see. Go back to the desk and see what the stash is saying.
All right, guys, we are doing moving average crossovers all week at Dara and I on the midday, so make sure to catch that. Today, we're going to be talking about moving average crossovers and trend identifications on how to trade at 11.
Check it out.
The good point there, Fabian in my ear just mentioning, is Reddit moving? Reddit is absolutely moving on this. It's just, look, Reddit's not going to percentage-wise move as much as GameStop. If that happens, we have another thing coming.
Liftoff.
No, we have 100%. But GameStop, just to give you an idea, GameStop's done 13 million shares traded, at least on my count. AMC's done 11 million shares traded. Reddit's up 6%. It's traded 200,000 shares pre-market. 200,000 shares. And the spread is 80 cents if you're looking to trade a full board lot, 100 shares. 80-cent spread on Reddit on 200,000 shares volume. Maybe not the place where I'd be trading, and certainly not the place to trade in the pre-market, and just be a little bit careful with that. Like, that's very illiquid. When it opens, I know it trades a heck of a lot better, but it is moving up on sympathy as well. The only reason I keep saying AMC for fade trade is there's probably actual buyers of Reddit that want to own Reddit for Reddit. And I think that gives it a little bit more staying power, and bids will be in there if it does dip. So Reddit's going to be on, I think it's going to be in play today, and as long as this is a story, remember this is where everything sort of started for Wall Street Bets, and Roaring Kitty was posts specifically on Reddit. Adara?
Getting some comments in here from Fed's Jefferson saying that inflation is a concern, that we need to look for more evidence that inflation is subsiding and that it is appropriate to keep the policy rate restrictive until it's clear that inflation is ebbing. So just some comments here from Fed's Jefferson echoing a lot of what we heard last week, that inflation is still a problem. There needs to be more signs of it going down, guys.
Yay, Jefferson. It doesn't matter today, Jefferson.
Shut your mouth.
Not today. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when the meme stocks are going up, it probably doesn't always matter that much when you're trading, because you're going to have vehicles to the left of them and to the right of them. Whether or not the chips can hold up, the NASDAQ just took out fresh highs there. We haven't looked at the imbalances, but overall, like you said, the NASDAQ just took out fresh highs, so it does want to go. AMC is a buy and balance of 1 million shares. Alibaba, we didn't mention Baba. Get to Baba in a second. 500,000 to the buy side on Alibaba. Those are the two ones that actually mean anything, although 1 million shares on AMC isn't a heck of a lot, obviously. NVIDIA's right back into the high of the day. So what China news? They almost didn't care. Alibaba is up 3.5%, Tencent reported. Some economic data out of China as well. Baba, I want it back into the previous resistance. That goes to Monday of last week and then Friday of the week before, where you get this 81.5 zone. Baba looking pretty strong here, looking to buy that one on some dips. But it is absolutely the NASDAQ pouring in here. Just double checking, NVIDIA still can't get those locates. I feel like the second the market opens up, we'll be able to get locates, because they're probably just looking to price it once you have a little bit of an open. I'm expecting a dip right off the bat on GameStop. I thought it would be from 23 into that 22, and we get some 21s. Now all of a sudden, VWAP's all the way up at 24. So I think that's what you have to play into. I know NEO's moving, but our attention's going to be elsewhere at the open. I'd rather be in Alibaba, so I'm choosing a Chinese stock at least.
Okay, so 1 minute to U.S. market opens. We do have, of course, Alibaba's on this sticky note for a long, so we're bidding 82, of course. ARM is there for a long, so we're bidding down where we need to bid on this one, 110. NVIDIA's at 900. I'm not doing anything with that. And then the other one that we're going to be looking at is going to be Apple. But I'm all eyes on Tupac and all eyes on GME right now because it is starting to get to the highs of the morning one more time, up at 26.50. So I mean, anywhere else right off the open for me will probably not exist. AMC with a big bid as well. All you had to do was go along this name. A lot of easy, kind of simple trades so far this morning. Doesn't mean it's going to last that way. So have your stops, get them ready to go on all of these names. So here we go, man. I mean, I'm not getting out of GME till it breaks like 22-ish. So we'll wait to see what happens down there. Crazy amount of call action and put action expected in the pits there for options with some of these names today. So if that's your bread, get ready to have it buttered. What's up, Adara? Here we go with only 3 or 4 seconds left. 2 and 1. Good luck, everybody. It should be a good day. And yeah, the market's now open, so we'll kick the door in and see what happens.
Exactly, kicking it down. Apple not really doing anything. NVIDIA making a move into the downside. GameStop's just holding fort a little bit here, about to break higher. Where are you, AMC? AMC, I knew this was going to happen. It is what it is. AMC's starting to dip, even with GameStop continuing to go. We don't have locates. I couldn't have made that play regardless. ARM is starting to come back in. So if you're looking for a dip buy on ARM, the market is pulling back, and ARM now down to 112. So this is at least a possibility for an initial move into the downside. Yeah, the Q's starting to pull back. I mean, we're still up 0.3%, but the Q's with a small pullback at the open so far.
Yeah, and yeah, GME actually didn't go at all early. It stopped. It got right to its highs of 26.50, and now here comes the pullback in for everything. I mean, the market's pulling a little bit, but I mean, it's only a couple handles. There comes GameStop. Oh, it looks like it's going to halt right now. So there goes GameStop. Looks like it's trying to halt.
Nope, fake halt.
Nope, fake halt. It was trying, and then someone must have bought that through. There we go. Nice move back up to the upside here. Let's see what does happen with GameStop. Tried to halt there, could not. And then now it gets ripped up back up to the top side now as there it goes. We'll see. So that was that halt band in around 25.75 there. But now we have to reset it. So now we'll wait to see what happens. Not a great morning, honestly, if you're a GameStop bull because it's only going down. So, or if you, maybe it's a great morning if you're trying to dip by it. Apple, Baba did a little bit of a dance back in on that move, but we should have probably looked at view up a little bit closer, 82.75. That's not bad. We could try that, but here's another pullback in right now for Alibaba. So I'm going to stay patient with some of this and wait for my 82. And then Neil mentioned ARM. Let me just.
ARM's at 12.
Is that
it's not
12?
really
Okay,
down far enough. We liked it at 110.
Not super
like this is
exciting.
one of those weird ones. It was dipping. It looked like we were going to get some weakness that we're hoping to buy into, but not a heck of a lot digging into there. GameStop's still going higher. I'm going to try and get those locates on AMC, but got to give myself a moment because just guess what just happened on Apple. Like Apple wicked that 185 by like 15 cents and then back in higher. So it looks like that first level on Apple was the right one, and they're at 185. Looks like a pretty decent one. But like I said, I wanted to be short AMC if GameStop went down, so I got to go see if I can get those locates again. I'm sure we can get them now it's open.
Oh, yeah. Everything's starting to pull back in right now anyways. So, like, GameStop just tried to get back through 26 and could not again there on that halt. We've sort of talked about all of this again. So you want to look for, like, other names potentially that were like this, and BlackBerry could be one of those names as well, as now that is starting to go up 6%. So, again, maybe just looking for different names. BlackBerry was one. There was, what was there? The Sound. Sound.
SOUN.
But I know that's an AI name.
No, SOUN is.
Let me just see.
It just pumped here.
Really?
Yeah, it just.
Okay.
So look at the wick. It just came down into 5 and then broke back out. This is usually like, this is a squeeze name and it's adjacent to NVIDIA. Okay, this is going to start going out of nowhere. Still can't get AMC. Okay, all right. Really? I guess they're still trying to figure out getting some locates on that name, so I had to be really patient with it.
That's funny that Scott mentioned that.
But SOUN looks really good here. What a dip and rip off that 5 level. So 530, 533. ARM's still nowhere near the dip buy that we like. 533 on SUN looks good. Let me just double check on Alibaba. You always want to stick to the names that are in your plan. Baba's nowhere near that dip zone. So it's doing absolutely nothing. With Pinduoduo flying, do I want Alibaba with a failed break of the low of the day and then taking out the top. All right, I guess that's what's setting up first as it starts to go. Let's go to Adara.
Novavax picking up here. This is actually a day 2 play. This one initially trading higher off of earnings and also announcing a co-exclusive licensing agreement for COVID-19 vaccine with Sanofi. Right now, NVDA acts up about 15%, short float of 32%, guys.
I'm going to take a little bit of a breakout here that I didn't really have on the radar. By the way, GameStop battled all the way back. It dipped. I was waiting at 24.50 or so. It got to 24.70, I think, and then now it's up another $1 right there. A little bit of an undercover play here that we hadn't written down, just because I was surprised at what's happening with it. There's a lot of spread, and it's really moving quite quickly here, Disney. So I'm not exactly 100% sure what's happening with Disney right now, but there's definitely some action here. And then when I looked at what it looks like on the daily, sort of, and it's more like this 20, I think if we can get above this 106.50 area, which is what I just punched long, then I think we could break higher here. So let's just see if Disney's having some ways off of their earnings, and then back up to the upside right now for Disney, trying to respect maybe VWAP, but that's like at 106.20. So like we'll have to look at like a 106 break. It's a pretty active name here, DIS. And by the way, there's GameStop back through highs and now flying back through $27 right now. It's gonna halt up. It's a halt up right now on GameStop, baby. So let's go. We're sitting there right now. And fake halt. It's going back now up to the upside. I'm going to put my offer.
No, it's going to
Now
go.
it's going to fake down. I don't know what it's going to do. I'm all fine with this. We're stuck at 30. We're going to wait for $30 on that name and see what happens there. So what's up, Adara?
This isn't massive, but I did find something on Disney. Macquarie raising its price target for the stock from 104 to 107. So pretty small price target increase, but positive note there for DIS heading into the day, guys.
Thank you very much there, Adara, for that Disney news. Sounds pulling back. We got the break on Alibaba. That one's headed toward the 84. I went into the halt trade on GameStop. It obviously did a fake halt the first time through. What that means is it got to the halt band and then actually printed lower before 15 seconds was up. It went down, came back up, and then did halt at 26.89. Currently, the tap is essentially flat, but it's a New York stock. We don't usually get those updates. It's always closer to that 5 minutes when it starts to matter on GME. As always, usually for this play, I'm going to get out half or at least a third at that open, and then see where it goes. AMs, while this is halted, remember, other names, meme names, are going to still be open. Like AMC is actually taking out the high, so you can sympathy play this as AMC is trying to go higher on that halt of GME. Still nothing on NVIDIA. It's absolutely in the middle of the range and doing nothing. ARM, it did not dip down into 110. You're just chilling out here at 112. Now ARM wants to take out the top at 115. I took a breakout when the dip didn't happen in AMC, and now, sorry, not AMC, in Alibaba, and now it looks like the same thing in ARM is going to happen here with a 115 break.
Here we go. I'm going to tweet out our link to the show and tweet it at Roaring Kitty. So he can come over here and watch the show along with us, because that's what we're doing. We're trading right now and we're in this, baby. We are now in this one. That's right. Thank you so much, Fabian, for that one. We're now $3 in the money now on GameStop, and we're going to wait to see where we can go on this one, hopefully even further and further and further. Just on this trade, it's been a monster day. So what's up, A?
Some other names with higher short floats and or meme kind of attention moving right now. We have Reddit, RDDT, up about 11%. They have a 2.6% short float. We also have Upstart, UPST, up about 8% here, 27% short float. So lots of heavily shorted and or more meme-like names to look at, guys.
Yeah. UPST, I mean, that's kind of like a low-key new one in there, but 8% in. I think any of these names, I'm going to pivot away from AMC if we can't get locates, but any of these sympathy names, if GameStop starts coming down, you go over to those. Like GameStop is the one that started all of this. So if Upstart fails at resistance of like 28 or 29 bucks and GameStop is starting to pull back, this is the name to go over to. We have locates. Oh, no, well, we're all going to get some locates on Upstart as well. You know what? They're probably all going to be harder to borrow. And GameStop will be open in about 2 minutes or so. NVIDIA's starting to make a rally. So finally, NVIDIA is getting off the schneid again, trying to push through. No 910 break just yet on NVIDIA. Apparently, Tesla's also making some new highs. But NVIDIA is one we wanted on a dip, and then a breakout if it can take out that 910. Starting to go here on NVIDIA. Baba's still chilling out, looking pretty solid, trying to make a run at that $84 level. I'm on the bid at 83 as well, trying to catch an open, trying to catch a pullback into VWAP on Alibaba. But the market itself, I know the memes are going up, but the market itself is pulling back in here. Like, the market's actually a little bit weak off this open. Looks like it's Apple's fault.
Yeah, for sure.
There we go.
We're just waiting for GameStop to open back up. And honestly, like, whatever. Apple's flat right now, so I don't really know
Google's weak, maybe.
what's happening right there. So we'll wait for that one. Tesla is the one that's starting to go. I don't know if we had a story on Tesla there or not as well, but that one's really starting to go up now, up that 2%. But honestly, man, I mean, I'm just waiting for this. So GameStop right now should be open it's 9:35:46. So 1 minute, we will get an open here on GameStop, exactly 1 minute, and then that should be fun. So let's see what happens there. We are trying to buy some more Disney. Again, it's just a price target increase here today. So not a big one. Derek came with that story. Thought maybe it was going to be something more just based on the way that it was moving. But again, trying to play relative strength, right? Just realizing that VWAP is right here, but we should still get our, where was I bidding? 12s? All right, because VWAP's moved up now. So just watch out for like a 106 break. I mean, I think we're going to try to hold this maybe a little bit lower in through a break of like this 105.80. So let's just put our stop there now in case it does go down to the downside. I mean, it sounds silly to say, oh man, we're going to lose like a certain amount. All right, we just got it. GameStop's about to open. Oh, GameStop did not. It is going to open. I think it's supposed to be right now in a couple seconds. So let's watch out for that.
Yeah, you're right. There was we still have a couple of seconds to go here on GameStop. We should open right about now. It should be any second now. There it goes. It ends up opening 27 something, and now you're getting a move into 28. 28 is that big level on the daily chart. So it needs to hold on to, I think, 26.5. If you're playing a breakout level, 28 is that big level on the daily. After that, I think it was what, like 35 or something like that is going to be the play. So as long as it holds on to the halt band, I think all roads lead to at least that $30 level. If it halts again, we'll check it out. But if I'm playing a halt price, then I want it back into the previous halt is going to be the out. It's a very different trade from buying dips, in my opinion, and then just kind of let it ride.
Yeah, we're now $4 in the money. So I still have an offer at $29.75, which I said we would put out there when the stock was at $23. So here we go. I mean, we can almost take some out right now. This has just been a monster. So I don't really feel like there's any reason why this one might not continue. I'm going to get a piece out if I can at 29 in case it's going. And there it is. So there it is right there, guys. We talked about this being the trade of the day at 8:30, and there it is right now. It's 9:41. So there's another out for us just ahead of 30 now on GameStop. So, I mean, if you're here for trading, real trading, this is exactly what you guys want. This is the meme stock. This is buying dips. This is buying it off the halts. This is doing all of that, and it's going to halt again. So there we go, baby. Nice trading on GameStop. We knew this was going to be it. We woke up. We saw Roaring Kitty. We tweeted it out. It's halted again, Neil. This is exactly what we're talking about. It's a monster. Neil, we're $5 in the money over here. This is a big day. Yeah, you had...
No,
you were brave to take the halt.
The halt trade is a very different trade because the way I see it, if that trade fails, you could be back at like $23. So it's always the same thing. A third out wherever it opens, some out on the first push. I ended up, the second it tagged in the 29, I'm like, put the trail in because 30 is a level and then let it go. I didn't take the halt up here a second time. I just feel like taking it when it's halted at 29.50, like let it do at least one pullback before making another move in there. As did I hear we're going to Adara? Yeah, let's go to Adara. This is the point where I got to get some locates on AMC because as far as I'm concerned, like, this is a GameStop thing. I don't think AMC deserves a lot of what's happening to it, but let's go to Adara.
Some other names grinding higher here, including Chinese ADR specifically. I know Neil here involved in Alibaba, but we also have Billy up about 8% for BILI, as well as JD.com. JD is the ticker for this one. JD also reporting on Thursday before market open, so keep an eye on all these Chinese ADRs hot right now, guys.
That's why the market's down. Oh, look at what's happening to Meta here.
Is it getting killed?
So look, you got at least 5 minutes to go station to station on GameStop, so you breathe a little bit. The other meme stocks are all open when this is happening, so you can look at them. But the overall market, which we're kind of ignoring, Meta down 2%. Don't really know why. Doesn't really matter why at the end of the day. But let's let this one calm down. Don't really know what's going on here. I liked the 470 level previously. But like, let's be real, that would have been a support level from Friday. Now that it's chewed through it, I guess maybe short that on the way back through. But NVIDIA's underneath 900. Meta's absolutely dying here. So it's a meme stock kind of day. I feel like if you're looking for longs, that's the place to go. AMC's now up 25%, and it's still running. Remember, this is still going to be open. They haven't halted this sucker once. It's right at that high from April, from late April at 375. If GameStop opens up and actually moves down after that halt, this is the one I wanted to play a pullback on. Just can't short it yet. I still feel like they're trying to figure out pricing on the locates here. And I'm still in Alibaba. I want 84s in here. It just can't seem to get to 84 yet. I feel like that's going to happen any second now, or any minute now, I should say. So one little push, break the 84, and then I trail this back through the 84 level on Alibaba. Up 5%. Doing really well. Back above that 200 period, Alibaba. Now you just have to hold that 200 this week is the next step.
Yeah, we like the Alibaba there. Good trade on that
How are we
one.
not?
How high did Alibaba going? Okay, so still 84, great on that. So I was going to look at Robinhood. I just wanted to double check what the exposure on the short side was of this name, because this could be one that goes. They reported, just loading up the trade ideas scanner right now. They reported and, had come back in from 19 right there. So let me just check out what is happening here on Robinhood. So GME is in halted state right now. So there's nothing to do until it opens. NVIDIA's tanking still? Okay. Short float. Oh, it's only 7%. All right, there'll probably be bigger fish to fry, but something to look at for sure. We did get a piece out there. Oh, that's Disney, sorry, right there. We did get a piece of Disney out near that view up of 20s, only 20. So we took a 20-cent hit there because it's not reacting and the market's going downside right now. So as Neil mentioned, maybe Meta pulling back a little bit. It's too bad that we missed the real long in Meta like a long time ago. Rivian is up.
It's squeezes that are all to the upside, right? Like you just sort of pick your poison.
Yeah, without them, there's
anything with a short float right now just seems like it wants to make a rally. Now remember, there's some hedge funds out there that are not just going to lean on one stock. Like it can be an overall strategy where they just sort of pick on the worst companies in their opinion, and they have shorts on all of them. So if you do have some covering in adjacent names, some of it might be, hey, they're covering because they have to. Others will be, we're covering it because they want to load up on something else. So Rivian, not quite. That's not a big breakout. No, that's not significant enough on Rivian that I think it could go that much further. This Meta is kind of crazy. I now have my trail in underneath 84 in Alibaba, and we'll just kind of let this one ride. We rang the register once at the $0.50, but wow. I just keep hearing Sharif even saying, wow, Meta. So the memes go up.
Takes a lot to impress that guy,
No, I know. The memes go up, and Meta's still falling. It's at 465 here.
I like when you're impressed with
461. I mean, like that was last week's bottom. I guess that's something here on Meta. I want to look to grab a dip buy in the stock. I'm not going to lie. There's nothing really going on here. It's almost 10 o'clock. That would be the point where you usually get some good levels. And GameStop just opened.
Oh, yeah. GameStop right now, 30. So there you go, man. It is a bang, 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 bang. And right now, because there comes the cash cow. He is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. There it goes, a nice move up to $30, $31. Man, GameStop, come on, why do you have to do this to my voice? 30, 31, we're still going. Guys, we're long at $24 here. There goes GameStop, a nice move back up to the upside as we continue to go higher and higher and higher. Right now, there goes GME through 31 and then a pullback. So, I mean, there's a flush. So nice little flush there on GameStop. Back in, it hits 31. Now it's going to halt downside. Watch out for GameStop potentially halting back to the downside. Man, this is fun. GameStop going to halt in a matter of seconds.
Can't short
unless, no, it goes. There it goes the other way. Right now, back up to the upside goes GameStop. So halt, ne pas, says GameStop. And right back up to the upside through 30. trying to again. So there it goes, man. Huge, huge, huge. We're still in this name. Let's see what happens with GameStop. What's up, eh?
Another name looking pretty strong here, Warner Brothers Discovery, WBD. This one reported on Thursday morning. This is a day 3 earnings play. Short float of about 4.3%. Not seeing much else here, but keep an eye on WBD, guys.
The upside. Again, I said
Don't stay.
I'm not taking the halts up here. I think I'll play it the first time.
No!
So the second I heard, I have a level 2 up. The second I saw that it was going to the downside a couple bucks, I punched short on Rivian. The only thing that was going that we had locates on. I got a quick scalp trade, but once GameStop went higher, instantly out. I mean, instantly out of that. And GameStop continues to go. It's halting again to the upside here. Just another 4 or 5 seconds. No, 2 seconds. Now it's halted again to the upside. Still going. If you're looking at, I mean, pretty much everything is now running, but GameStop obviously up the most. AMC, that stinks. AMC, when GameStop did that first pullback, was basically free money. As I said, you can't short it though. We didn't have any locates. That was essentially free money. I jumped in and out very quickly for Rivian, but that's only like a couple of pennies were made on that trade. Meta. We probably missed that chance. It's down. It just put a wick in at 463. It's already starting to bounce. Let's play the patience game here. You know, my eyeballs are all over the meme names, looking to trade them like the futures, or GameStop futures. You could have had anything that was sympathy short. When GameStop pulled back $1.50, they all immediately lost the bid. You just had to be really quick. Rivian was the only one we had locates on, so that's what I had. I tried to hit Upstart as well in that same movement, but again, we had no locates, and that broke VWAP in there. Apparently, Affirm's going as well. Again, short float. It's got a short float. It's going today.
So, guys, I mean, again, at 8:30, we looked over and said, this is this is the day that we have the potential. It wasn't doing much in the pre-market at all. Like, you know, once we got going, this is what happened. You know, we even said that it might not be a halt fest. Completely wrong on that one. Bang, 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 3 halts, and we're ready to get opened up again here, and we'll see where we can go from here. So what a day so far. If you've been trading, I mean, you could decide what you want to do. Hood. We're only out of half right now of what we had. Oh my God.
Hood.
What was I talking about with Robinhood? At 1670, what did I say? Potential another mover there, and I went away because it was only 7% short. Man, what an idiot. Now you can see Robinhood right there. We would have had another one for you. But it's the idea generation. You know, that's what it's all about, right? We talked about finding our way into different names. I have Baba written down at 82. Didn't get there. Neil takes it higher.
It was just
Good
the breakout.
Yeah, no, that's great. Disney, brand new idea generator right here as well. We just got long off the Fitty there. Yeah, Fitty. So now we're going to wait to see what happens here on Disney as we continue to go higher now, hopefully, into 1660 or 106.60, back there to the upside. Our dip buy opportunities on NVIDIA, we canceled those, guys. When the market opened and we got out there, I said, we're not playing this one. So I feel pretty darn good about that. Yeah, and I feel good about the Robinhood call. So we say, like, when you're doing something right, you're doing something right, and we're doing something right. So congratulations to everybody that's been with us here this morning. GameStop has hopefully made a lot of money because it's been one hell of a day there for GME.
You couldn't lose today. Guess what just broke out 21s, believe it or not? Well, I just said 21, so it's kind of a giveaway. But Palantir. Totally forgot about this name. That's what happens when the memes come in. Remember $21 on Palantir? Look at the double bottom. Now it's starting to break out. This isn't really a short story, but keep in mind, the NASDAQ's down right now and at the lows, and you have something breaking higher that just put in a post-earnings bottom. So I want to keep the eyeballs on the 21 level. GameStop, 3 minutes? 2 minutes. 2 minutes till it opens back up again. It is worth mentioning, of course, look, AMC is actually pulling back throughout this halt. So there's probably some potential here if GameStop continues to go higher. This would have a chance. NVIDIA, you know, unless you really, really liked $888, there's a buyer at $885, pretty much gone at this point. AMD on the chip space, stronger than NVIDIA. So I think we're back to liking that break. Obviously a little bit distracted, but if I had taken a breakout on AMD, would that have worked? I mean, you could have scalped it for 40, 50 cents maybe. That wouldn't have been that bad, but ultimately I think that wouldn't have worked out at all. So VWAP sits here in 152 quarter. Breakout of this top gives you 153, what is this, 53.35 back into 153 for AMD, which is suddenly looking pretty strong. So about a minute or two till the reopen on GameStop. Let's see what happens. I mean, I think at this point, you know, there's anything is a possibility. If there's a halt down, I think that's going to provide some opportunity for some re-entries, if that's your game. But you let it halt down, let it open back up. I don't want to be chasing it up here. You got to be long at the bottom like Sean had, or have a plan for the first breakout, which we were able to grab. Here comes AMD to the highs.
Kind of feel bad about that Robinhood. All right, so Lucid also going to highs as well right now. Like, it's just going to continue, I feel like, maybe today. Look at Lucid. What? Up 10% right now and starting to go higher. Tesla, I guess, is also kind of like a meme name.
Yeah.
The more people get involved with some of these stocks. Also, SoFi's going. All right, GameStop is
33.
open. 33! Boom! There it is right now. Let's go. Sound that alarm. Onto the screen, onto the screen, onto the screen. We're halting again. This is $10 in the money. We're doing it again. We're doing it again on the show. I mean, let's make Trader TV Live great. There it is. Boom, halted again. Chef Joe, everybody who's long GameStop, it's cook time, and we are cooking right now with GameStop, as it is now $10 in the money, halted again to the upside, and we're having a decent time here so far. Palantir is booming. Big day alert on GameStop. Come watch the show. When? Now! And stay with us forever, as we're not stopping. We've talked about that over and over again. If you can't tell, I love the job and I love trading, and I love going over to the desk with Adara.
Sorry about that. Another name having a big day right now. Walgreens Boots Alliance, WBA. This one popping up here. People reporting that they're said to contact potential buyers for drug chain Boots. So Walgreens looking to have some buyers for Boots, according to these reports. Again, not confirmed here, guys.
I don't know how many people care about Walgreens right now. No, I'm joking. All kidding aside. Obviously, there's other things happening in the market, but the meme names are where it's going to be at. The tap value on the halts hasn't really been telling us anything, so it's still just every single time GameStop halts, you're essentially just flat, and it's indicating a flat open, but that doesn't mean it's not going higher and higher. The last halt one, like I said, I took a halt trade, which everyone's like, oh, Neil, you're mad for getting out. Not really, because when you take this breakout, if it opens down, like I'm always gonna take some out. If it opens down, you could open up down to like 25 bucks. So it's very different from being long early on when you take a breakout trade. You try to find a re-entry that did give you a dip into the 30 level, but the way these are now going, up here, when you're in this rarefied air, the second there is a pullback down, it's like find a sympathy name and then grip that and then rip it. Tesla 175 is starting to get a little bit out of hand as well. And then AMC, which used to be the big meme name, look at AMC. You still can't even get located. It can't even bust VWAP AMC when this thing is up $1 million in GameStop.
We're trading GameStop today. We're up 50%. No, on the trade.
Randy's like.
On the trade. All right, but Tesla's going though, Randy. That's going to be a nice one for all of the Tesla bugs out there, because look at this, 175 right now for Tesla. Yeah, straight to the moon here, as a lot of these names are starting to go. And we also have our boy Reddit that we recommended off $50 last week. That's now at 60, so that's a monster move for Reddit. Right there, up 20% in a couple of days. So we nailed, I mean, that was a different one, because I feel like it's up now because of GameStop. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. AMC, Randy, I know you like some movies. That's up there 20% as well. But it was this GME, Randy. It's not the number one name, but it's on here. The number 2 idea from the sticky note today was already up. Look at these candles that we've had here on the daily chart. Straight fire, held all pre-market, gave us 3 opportunities for some reason to get long. So there it goes, up to the upside goes GameStop. So yeah, so far so good. It is halted though right now. So I'm just going to continue on that. But yeah, Walgreens news there. Potential buyers for WBA. The beleaguered Walgreens Boots Alliance.
Not the exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Walgreens, it is up decently, but it's not that exciting. Look, sympathy names, I know this is insane. COS is up 60%. So, like, just understand that GameStop is the one that started all this. The second that shows any signs of weakness, cost will be back down like $1 in an absolute heartbeat. And this stock, it's done a ton of volume, so there's good relative volume in cost. This is just an old meme name. They make like the headphones or whatever. I think they're obviously they still make headphones.
something like that.
Yeah, I could feel like they're in a new business now, Neil. No, cost is one of the other sympathy names out there, whether it's Upstart, whether it's I don't know what else you want to throw out there. Affirm is also making a power move in there. And it's anything that has a decent short float. But just be careful when they start to come back in, because the second there's a sign of weakness, you just got to grip it and rip it. I'm going to give up on trying to get locates for AMC. It seems like they're not going to give them to us. There's plenty of other names that you can work with that are adjacent, Upstart being one of them, up that 9%. And costs as well. I can try and grab those.
Yeah, cost is there. We talked about BlackBerry. We talked about Robinhood. Sound was moving. And I think the real a big winner has definitely been Tesla, I feel like.
That's a low, low key.
I was waiting for GameStop to open, but let me just check out one more name that we know that is also Beyond Meat does have a huge short float as well. So this name up 6% here today. This might be a good day for me to check in on my cannabis names and see if they are truly, holy shit.
Over.
GameStop right now.
30,
Let's go.
38, 37. No, what the hell just happened?
What are we even doing today? Wow, monster move. It's going to halt again to the upside for GameStop. We're $13 in the money,
Bye-bye.
and this is still going. This was graduation day for the boys behind us. This name sat there all pre-market. You knew GameStop was going to be a ripper today. There was no chance otherwise. You had so many outs. Like, you could have got out 24, 22. The risk to reward on this one is absolutely a monster. It's now 6-1. This is Real Trading, and we got a sponsor, Real Trading. Make sure you go find these guys out. As soon as I came in, I right away paid for shorts on this. If this isn't a real trade, then I don't know what is. But right there, GameStop, nice move, buying those dips, be part of the fun, man. Join up Real Trading, ASAP. And what I wasn't scared about was I'm also able to go short. So you think we're having fun now, wait till we see this thing turn around, and then we'll start putting on some damage.
We actually have locates there.
Back down. Yeah, they're basically free.
Yeah.
It's like 2 cents.
Same with cost is literally free as well, 1/8 of 1 cent. As GameStop, there's no levels. Just remember that up here. It's basically just air, kind of like MJ. Let's go to the desk. We've got Adara. We know what's happening now, but what else is happening now?
No shortage of exciting market movements happening today, guys, on this Monday. That is for sure. We have the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both bouncing off of being about flat, so both slightly positive on the day, giving up some of those earlier gains amid some weakness in chips, which we'll get to in a second. But generally, pretty positive day so far, especially for these smaller names. Worth noting as well, we do have Microsoft and Google on watch, as well as Apple heading into this 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we have that OpenAI event. OpenAI and Apple apparently near a deal, according to some reports. So that'll be really interesting to see what they announce there. Keep an eye on that event. Other names to keep an eye on. A lot of these Chinese ADRs pretty strong here, including Tencent Music, TME, up about almost 7%. Reported earnings down year over year, but they beat analyst estimates, and they also announced a cash dividend per American depository share. We also have here NVDA. This one initially looking pretty strong, then falling a little bit on the report from the information that Chinese regulators are telling local firms to buy fewer of their chips. So move down for NVDA. Another chip name, though, a little bit stronger is ARM Holdings, ARM, up almost 3% after Nikkei Asia reported that the company is looking to launch a new AI chip. So no shortage of things to look at today, guys.
2.5 minutes till GameStop reopens. Cost halted before that, so actually Cost is going to open up before GameStop in there, which I think is going to be good. I want to see GameStop open. I'm not shorting any adjacent name unless GameStop goes to the downside. Meta's still under a lot of pressure. Just to give you a quick update, is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, Alibaba did just put in its first couple of red candles there on the breakout, so I just got trailed out at 84.50. I was just moving my trail every time it broke. Yeah, every time it broke the even dollar or the half dollar, I just moved my trail higher. I think VWAP's going to come into play here, 83.60. If we can grab that, we'll go ahead and do it. But all eyes are going to be on the meme names for obvious reasons. You know, now that you're up here, again, there's no levels for GameStop, up 110%. If you're not already in it, Then cost just opened back up. This is the one, if GameStop goes down, that I'm going to put that I want to take a short on. It's got to be something adjacent. And even then, it's already starting to fall, Adara.
Another heavily shorted name to watch out here. This one's going to be Tupperware, TUP, up about 45%. Net getting a nice spark in volume here around that 10 a.m. area. Short float of about 20%. Float or market cap of about 60 million. So TUP, another one to watch out here for guys making new high of days.
I mean,
Tupperware's not bankrupt.
I was going to say, this is the number one idea. You got to get your the Trader TV 20 from Trade Ideas, because if you had a halt scanner or something on, days movers, average daily mover extenders, things like that, because like all of these short float names, or even just that scanner that Michael talked about, days to cover, short float scanners, things like that, because right now, I mean, every single name, we just randomly were like, hey, what about Robinhood? And I put on like my macro hat there and was thinking like, oh, they had a good quarter last time, yada, yada, yada. And you can see what's happening now to Robinhood. We talked about it down here. It's not really doing what any of the other ones are doing, but that would be an example of that. And then we're going to go back into this one as well. We'll go 2 for 2 today if Disney can get going. We did get lucky enough. So we put on first there, wondering what was going on. Adara came through and just said it was just a simple price target upgrade. So that's nothing for me. But so we had to play it off 106, play it off that 50-period moving average, and try to use down here in the 200 or the day's low as our out. So we're still in 40% of it. I do have an offer at 35, which is the best we've gotten. We've just got 25. So if we could see if we can get something there and then try to hold like 30%, maybe here it comes. Okay, GameStop is now open and it's still going higher, guys. Here comes 40. Okay, there's the pushback. Now it looks like a halt down potentially here for GameStop. So let's wait to see. You can't get out when it's halting down. So you sort of got to wait for this. See if we can sit at 87 and get a fill. We are not getting a fill. We're trying to get out. There it is. It halted. So we did not get a fill there at 37. So, or sorry, 34.87. So the first initial pullback there, that was good. That was a great spot to consider getting out if you're still in it. So I tried to punch out there. So we'll wait to see where it opens up. I could see like 33 now, maybe, potentially even lower. So, I mean, we just halted at 34. So let's wait to see where we open up on that one. But that was the move down. So again, be careful with it. We did get that fill on Disney. So as that was all happening, it's too bad that I was over there. But we did have time to react. We did take out 38 and then pushed back in. So I'm not putting out a marketable order yet, but GameStop, that's the first move back. And sometimes when that music ends, we all know that what can happen after that. So there it is, first downside halt on GameStop.
Dollar says we'll be able to get AMC shorts now.
Yeah, probably. I'm surprised you haven't been able to get them yet.
No, I've tried 20 times. Look, we can short Lucid. So when I wanted AMC. Obviously, I said that all morning long. The second there was a weak move on GameStop, I would get to that. But I got into Lucid at $3 because it put this wick when GameStop came down. It was any short name you could grab. Cost was already halted when this happened, halted to the downside before GameStop even went, so that wasn't even an option. So I have Lucid, I'm gonna give it to the new high, and then we'll see what happens from there. AMC, I for one am shocked. This was the fact that it wasn't even making fresh highs made it the easiest opportunity if you had locates on this one. The second there was a down push on GameStop, and that's why I was trying to get locates the entire way. But it is what it is. You got to be able to move on to the next. The market itself is coming back. Tesla's still at 175. That looks pretty strong. Hey, remember Meta?
Yeah.
Meta's at VWAP here.
So.
With the market starting to come back, Meta's in and around VWAP. This was not a name I was thinking about the short on. What about AMD? Let me just quickly double check. AMD still hasn't taken out the top yet. I think it's pretty much primed to go, and with the market recovering in here, just looking for AMD to take out that top. But we can sit here waiting for the paint to dry on that. Thankfully, the meme stocks have given you a lot of excitement because I feel as if some of these break. I mean, Alibaba happened and Alibaba was good, but I've been looking for AMD to make this break for at least 15, 20 minutes now. I'm going to put my order back in there again. As I said, Lucid was the one I took because Lucid was the only one available with quick free locates we were able to get there. So if it comes down into VWAP, we'll start taking it out. Got to keep an eye on GameStop. If GameStop opens back up and just starts running again, believe me, I'm punching out. I got no issues. I could be 3 cents in the money. I could be flat on the trade. And once the sympathy name starts to follow the leader,
cannot believe
you want to be able to get out there. Well, Robinhood's, I'm assuming Robinhood's pulling back as well.
No, Robinhood's ripping like crazy. And this was, again, so for me, look, we're already super happy with our day. We've already talked about that. Disney's held out okay. But honestly, man, this Robinhood, we should have had that. We did have it. And I was like 7% short. I don't want that. That was ridiculous. There it is. What's up to Rami Rahim? Thank you so much for the $5. But that's even a bigger win. $17,351 there for my guy Rami, who gets in off of the halt. So good job on that one, getting in there, grabbing some calls. We, of course, trade straight shares. So, dancing in and around these even pennies and things like that matter. I cannot believe Robinhood. That was, honestly, I'll pat myself on the back for that, although I don't have it. But we'll see if we could do the opposite in SoFi. We actually went short on SoFi now. So let's see if it can break 730. GameStop is about to be open, so let's wait to see how this one trades. I think a break too far below where we kind of are now, we're going to have to be careful with it. So watch out for GameStop, like 34-ish break, 33 break, probably considering getting out. It'll still be a $10 winner, but obviously we've given up $5 off the top. So let's wait to see what happens here for GameStop. This is trading. You can't, you put your offers out, you put your bids in, and
you know what's wild?
You can call the right spots.
It's wild. On the way up, there were no tap values higher before it would open, but the second it holds down, all of a sudden it has an indicated open lower at 33. On the way upside, it wasn't doing this. It would open higher off the halt, but it wouldn't tell you that was going to happen. All of a sudden, you're indicating 33s. You don't know until it actually opens where it's going to be, but like right here, I think 30, 27, those are the areas that make a lot of sense. The 3150, or that's 3170, would have been a halt top and then a reopened bottom at about 3170. So that 30 VWAP, if it gets down in there, a little rubber band action is what I'd be looking for in GameStop. It just opened.
There it is. So now, yeah, it is open now. 33 coming into play again. There it is, back up to the upside. Now trying to break a little bit lower. I am going to punch a piece out there at 32.30 there, whatever we got. We'll find out what we got after. But there's a quick out. It could not get back going. We got 32.12s right there. So another piece out. Now we'll hold a quarter of this as it's pulling back in now. There goes GME. Quite aggressively back down into the downside. We knew that it's going to halt again. So here comes another halt. Oh, nope, back up. So there we go. Now let's wait to see. Maybe a false halt down there. Back upside now, 31, 31, 32, 32 and a quarter. Can we see 32.50? Can we see 33? No, we cannot right now. 33, here we go. 32.50, $33 inbound, and maybe 34. But as we get upside, that last little halt area, 36.80, 34.75. So we got out there a little piece. We'll still hold every single piece out. Obviously has been a higher situation for us. So let's wait to see what happens with GameStop. Honestly, I'm actually fine even if I hold this all the way back at this point. We're out of 75% of this trade. Let's see what happens now as SoFi not really pulling back and Robinhood sticking near the highs there. Were you able to get AMC shortables?
Of course you now have locates on AMC.
Yeah, there you go.
Like after the down halt on GameStop is when it finally happens. I have them, but it didn't even move on that push down because it had already gone. I was in Lucid. Check that. I still have a little bit of Lucid in here. It just tagged under VWAP when GameStop made that move down. Now remember, just anything that was adjacent, I was punching short once GameStop went to the downside. I got threes. You basically got that move in at 290. You can want AMC all you want, but if this is the one you get, it's what you get. I think down around 280, 285, if GameStop doesn't hold up, makes some sense. Lucid and some of these sympathy names have other reasons why people might not want to buy them. So you do want to respect that. But GameStop's going to halt down again. If it does, all right, I can probably give this to VWAP at least if I get this on AMC. So I'm going to take this just on GameStop halting down, and I'll give it, not VWAP, let's give it to 340 as we're going to Adara one more time. But this is what I wanted at 360. We got the locates now. They were very cheap too, 1/8 of 1 cent per share at Real Trading. 1/8 of 1 cent to go short Adara.
Oh.
This one has a little bit less volumes than some of the other names running today, but WW, formerly known as Weight Watchers here, up about 14%, short float of about 21.3%. So this one worth keeping an eye on as well here, WW, guys.
All right, I tried to go short Robinhood, which I'm short right now at 17.30. It's not, I have to stop at the high of the day here. It doesn't, I just thought on this pullback for GameStop that potentially Robinhood would pull back. So we put a little bit of our risk that we've made in GameStop into this trade now. SoFi's not really moving, so I'll wait for that. We still have the same kind of a target on high a day, but it's funny how I go from like, oh, Robinhood's going to be a short or a long, sorry, into what position I'm in right now, which is kind of crazy. So we'll take a little bit out now if we can get back into the mid 20s as we're short here at 30 on Robinhood. So okay, nice little pullback. Maybe we get something actionable, more than I thought actually, for a nice little pullback here for Hood. So, all right, we're in it. We'll see if SoFi pulls back again, but Robinhood just did a little bit of a dip buy. We got to take advantage of it. Let's start getting out some more here on Robinhood. So, okay, so far so good. We shorted it at the highs maybe for Hood. We're still waiting for SoFi to pull back. That would be nice if that happens. And then Disney's doing nothing. And I know it is a pretty bold move holding on to GME. I do understand that. We're already... It's Monday, you know, we're long down here. We've taken good profit on it. I'm completely pleased, obviously, with the way we've executed on this. It'll be the #1 P&L stock for the day probably, and I can even get out for flat and that would still be true. So let's just wait to see what happens now. Robinhood, again, I don't know. We have shares on. I mean, if this one really tanks. The reason why I say, like, I feel like scalping, like the market, unless something happens, I mean, anything can happen in the market today, right? I mean, GME could absolutely be a disaster, and I could wind up losing the whole day on it. So, but I don't know what I meant by it being like the #1 thing. I don't know if we're going to see a move like that again on, what am I doing?
The only way that could happen on GameStop is if they decide to do what they did that day with Funware. Remember where they don't open it up after 5 minutes or 10 minutes and they hold it for like an hour. That's the only way because, I mean, ultimately it's going to open up. It'll trade a couple minutes. Even if there's multiple halts the way down, you can get out. What I mean is there was one day, it was like a DWAC day. DWAC halted a couple times to the upside. It was going absolutely nuts. Funware was going up on sympathy. DWAC and Funware both halted at the same time. DWAC opened in 5 minutes. Funware never opened. DWAC then halted again. And then Funware never opened. And then DWAC finally went to the downside. And then when it was tanking, it halted down a couple times. And it wasn't an hour. It was like an hour later when DWAC had come all the way back down. They finally opened up Funware. And anybody that had been holding just couldn't get out. It was kind of disgusting. Every now and then that's going to happen. It's very rare. Volatility halter 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's what it's supposed to be. But yeah, I think that'll be fine. GameStop's doing so much liquidity. I think it's okay. But I did get into AMC. We didn't get VWAP. We didn't get it when the turn actually happened, but the first short available was right here at about 3:30. I got 29s. I was just getting some out there in the low 20s, and it's starting to pump a little bit higher. I'm going to get off the offer only because GameStop's going to open in a minute or two, and there's no need to be sitting on the offer when GameStop opens up. Lucid, I just want to make sure that I'm getting out of Lucid. I'm gonna cancel that bid on Lucid and go the other way. I'm going to trail this now to 295 and just see where it goes. So if it breaks back above VWAP and maybe gets above like 96, I'll just get out of Lucid as that one's starting to come back into the downside. Just sympathy plays. I didn't want to be short on GameStop, even though I paid for it. I felt like it had to do something stupid, maybe like a 40 or a 50, but we're able to go over to one of the sympathy names as GameStop should open up in just under 1 minute. Oh my goodness, NVIDIA's going to be back at 800, 900.
Yeah, oh yeah.
After all of
885.
After all of that, you're going to be right back at the 900 level. But that's fine. You knew where you had to be trading today. It was the squeeze names that were more exciting. I mean, I'm going to double check on Alibaba. That's one I want to get back into, but I don't think we're seeing VWAP anytime soon. So Baba doesn't have any levels up here in the shorter time frame. Yeah, there's really nothing up here in Alibaba. So like 85 just because it's 85. And then, yeah, it'll have to be VWAP. Just got to be patient with Alibaba. It's in a new range here, so you got to respect it and just wait for it to pull back into VWAP.
All right. I mean, we got more SoFi there. GameStop is now open and starting to go down. Oops, let me just click on it. Starting to go down a little bit. Okay, there it goes. So it did get, nope, not anymore. It did go down and then now up. So just be careful with what you're doing here. It just went to 29.50, now back up to 30.50 and trying to dance around a bit. So let's see what happens now. All right, SoFi is starting to come back. I know you guys don't really want to care too much about SoFi. That's starting to come back in. We did take a 28 fill. We talked about that a bit earlier. But I guess I don't know. Starting to lose faith a little bit in GameStop because we can't really hold those bids. Like it tries every single halt it tried to go. Like here we go again. It's trying to go again right now. So I feel like patience, obviously, as it always tends to be around here, is very, very key when you trade. So here goes GME. I feel like the better break long might be to wait for a halt and then see if you can catch something there. But for right now, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see if it holds above 30 bucks. And then if we can get a halt to the upside, probably would have to halt around 20. We don't have halt bands there, but we just were 29.50, so you got to add, so 33-ish or so. It should halt us here on this name. So let's get ready. I'm going to get some more out on Robinhood and things like that just in case, but it is starting to go back up to the upside here. Robinhood, our out is right here, a break of 40. If we break the high, we're gone. So we're only playing this because of what we just mentioned. So there it goes now, $8 back in the money for GameStop. So it looks like that halt we'll be fine with.
Yeah, it's now like it's really starting to go. I have a stop out, like we said on AMC, so we're already locked and loaded. No need to add when that's going into the upside there. Jay Rue, appreciate the super chat in there. It ain't over by a long shot. It's only 10.20. This didn't get to VWAP, obviously, but it did make the turn at that $30 level on GME. The next halt price is like that 33 in there, so it's still in a bit. There it goes, going into a halt. No, it might halt at 31.98. Nah, ended up not halting there at 31.98. This is still the halt band at 31.98. If it goes into a halt, I am going to punch out half of AMC regardless the second I see it halt. Only out of the money 3 cents on AMC. Like that's an easy decision. Oh, I don't want to be long. No. There we go. Let's just get out of that one. We're in a halt now on GameStop. So let's just get out of that one very quickly. Lucid, we're good because we're in the money on that one. But AMC, let's just get out. As this should be a wild one because I have a funny feeling the small cap recap is going to be dominated by names that have short floats at Era.
You would be correct. This is a special small cap recap with an emphasis on these heavily shorted names that are small caps as well. We have the IWM Russell 2000 just to kick off, getting a little bit of a move to the downside despite making a slightly higher high earlier today. Still up on the day though is the Russell 2000. First name here on the list is going to be ChargePoint CHPT, 25% short float for this one. Nice volume spike around 10 a.m. putting this one on the list here. We also have here KSS. This is going to be Kohl's slightly larger market cap, about 2.6 billion, but still fairly small comparatively, and a short float of around 32%. So KSS also benefiting from this short float spike. Last but not least here, we have SAVE. This is going to be Spirit Airlines, falling down a little bit, but still up about 10%. Short float of about 26%. SAVE, one of the many short floated small cap names to be running today, guys.
So it's actually like SoFi. McDonald's is going down. There's some watchdog alert there from China. Food issues in China. That's great. Okay, so here we go. Nice little downside move, though, for SoFi. So we just shorted that one. So we're starting to get some out right now as this is pushing back in 7.15. So, I mean, for me, yeah, buddy, decent trade there. But we'll give it back because of Hood. So one went one way, one went the other. So I guess we chose the wrong one, and it's funny that we talked about getting Robinhood long down here at 1680, considering where that bad boy is right now. So missed opportunity definitely there on Robinhood, but took advantage the other way on SoFi. So it'll be a net game if it stays here. If SoFi goes up, then we'll wind up losing on both of those trades. But for right now, it's all good. NVDA, again, we liked 900 dip buys, but then that got squashed on that China stuff. And then here's McDonald's one more time, as we mentioned there. Just a little look in from China. I mean, I guess the idea is that if anything winds up happening in China, then that's bad, you know, having to shut down or whatever what winds up being right now. I didn't pay for shorts on AMC or anything like that, but this is, again, I don't favor the short anywhere, so we'll wait. Yeah, Novavax we're hearing as well. Apple.
I forgot about these.
A lot of things just really aren't moving right now. The market is pretty flat. I mean, Apple's still at here's Apple right here. Apple's still at 185. We wanted to buy the dips at 184, and the best we got was 184.50, but we were involved in something called GameStop, so I didn't
What's that called again?
I didn't really
GameStop.
focus too much on Apple right there. But we are going to have to start to look around now because things are starting to die down, including I know you already had Alibaba. Oh, I talked about this. The other name that was on the sticky note that's been left basically for naught is ARM. ARM came into 110 again, 110.85. So we're back into that level one more time here. So that could be something. I was waiting at 110 and a quarter. So I don't have that name anyways, but ARM now trying to come back in one more time to the bottom. So this is a little strange to me. Figured with the market trying to battle up, ARM would not be down off open, but they are. So right now ARM trying to figure it out, and we're now 7 cents in the money, but on SoFi and waiting for GameStop to open up.
Yeah, and when they do, which it will be in about a minute and a half or so, or just under 2 minutes, Novavax, 30-something% short float. They're pretty gigantic as well. They did have going concern issues, which they got a deal from Sanofi, and that's no longer the case. So the shorts have been unwinding. Let's just say it nicely the last couple of days. This just did a breakout, again, past 1050. Almost out of, I should say it's not out of nowhere because it's a big squeeze name and it was last week. So this is adjacent. Anything squeeze potential, you got to have the eyes on today. This could halt, but it hasn't done so yet today. I'm going to look for a dip and rip on Novavax. As long as GameStop isn't falling apart, I think you want to try to find these. I just heard DJT's making some runs as well. So it's like anything with a short pulse is going to start to go. And this was one that was going anyways. I'm still in Lucid. I punched out of AMC when GameStop halted, but I'm still in Lucid with just a trailing stop. So if it gets above 296, then we'll get out of that one. But Novavax on a dip is going to be the next place I would look. Back into a previous breakout high. As long as we open up on GameStop and this doesn't fall apart, Novavax has a lot of room on that daily as well. The resumption price, CompuCare team's asking, GameStop showing me a flat open, 31.98 the halt price, and then it's indicating 31.98. So, you know, whenever it halts up, it seems like it's indicating a flat open, and then when it halted down, it was indicating, it actually showed you the down.
32, yeah, we're
yeah. So it's opening now at $32. Looks like it's still going. I'm going to have that look at Novavax, see if that's going to continue to go.
Yeah, starting to go back up to the upside again. We'll watch out for this. We're back. I mean, we're not back in. We're still in. We're still $8 in right now. Starting to go back up. Guess what? Janet Yellen now talking. So great. From Fed to Janet Yellen. 37 coming into play maybe for GameStop would be sort of the level that I'd look at. I mean, we'd have to halt before we get up there, I guess, the way it's moving. It's just so stupid. I really think that this stock could absolutely moon after hours if it keeps doing anything similar to this, or even if it calms down. There's no halts or anything like that. This thing could be at $80 because no one's going to halt this and let people get out. So you're just going to be forced to get out wherever it comes through, and that's a disaster for short. So we'll just be careful going short this name. We're nowhere near the closing of the day, of course. It's only 10:30, but watch out. Here we go again. The diamond hands at least are working now, but we did get out already at this exact level pretty much, 32.30s last time. So it's up a little bit from our last out. I thought we did really good, and someone in the chat said that was a bold move holding it, so I want to say thank you for that there, because, yeah, we always talk about this fortune favors the bold in this business. So we'll wait to see what happens now. $33, it looks, you know, possible pullback again. I still feel comfortable waiting for VWAP, and I understand that that's giving up this much money. So if for traders out there that are a little more risk adverse and you think this is a great move back, and I would agree 100%. I mean, we were just at $30. So like, although you'd be like, oh man, this is only 10% in the money or whatever, it's still a monster. So you might want to consider doing some stuff like that, taking something out at some point on GameStop if you have not. So nice move up, but seems to be a little more orderly now. If anything, I'm thinking it's looking like a short, it seems like. So watch out here for GameStop.
Yeah, it just came back under the halt price. So GameStop just came back underneath the halt price. So I just jumped back into AMC off of VWAP in there. So GME, there you go, double them up. So it just broke the halt price. You have a wick above on GameStop right in here, and then pulling back underneath. So if it gets back above like 32 or so, that can be a reason to just punch out. Otherwise, I'll just punch out at that local high. When GameStop was halted, I was short in AMC and just punched out. When GameStop showed me the halt to the upside, you could just punch out, not have to wait for it to go up. I accidentally went long and then punched out of that as well. I wasn't looking to be long on AMC. So we're going to go right back over to the same strategy, which is weakness in GameStop at any point, and we go into AMC. Still no break on AMD, and NVIDIA doesn't break 900 either. So if you're watching those chip names, NVIDIA can't get past 900, it looks like. It just turned around, and AMD did the same thing at the high of the day. So, I mean, the story is still going to be the meme stocks. Meta, for everyone that's interested, still in what's going on there. It did bust VWAP and went higher. Clearly, our attention was over in some of the meme names when that was going on. But Meta did do a nice little pullback and then give you an opportunity to get in. And then I just heard Sharif say Apple. Apple just broke the highs as well. We wanted to be long Apple, and all of this other stuff happened. But look at it hold at 85. I guess dip and rip VWAP's in play, 185.50 the breakout price. If you like those, plenty of opportunities to still get in.
The worst part is here. Play Apple off VWAP. Like, it's just so stupid because that's exactly what wound up holding. So good play there. Anybody that has that. And of course, we said we weren't trying to go anywhere, but GameStop right now is not going anywhere either. $33, $34 looks like the top of this most recent move. So you got to get that break of 34 to start to scare people out that are holding shorts for some reason in GameStop. But again, like, if you're short it, you're going to have, I mean, if you're short it and you're a disciple of mine, then you're going to have an out. So I look at something like this and say 34, 34.15, 34.20. So I want to see that getting to that level and then testing it, right? Because that's the breakout there. So if you do have like an extraordinary position still or something that you felt like you haven't gotten enough out of, this is a good spot. Because that 34, it's come up to that a couple times and not really had too much reaction off that. I guess it was, I don't know, fourth halt spot there, doesn't really matter. But anyways, let's just see what happens there if we do wind up pulling some back. We've made money on SoFi. We just got a 21 fill before GameStop opened back up, and now it's going up to the upside there. I did want to, okay, so Alibaba's already there. Because Alibaba, I know you're out of it, but that was a good trade anyways at the beginning. If it pulls back, again, there's that VWAP trade, so 83.70. The market's so strong. Not so strong, but it's been bullish here, bouncing off VWAP and trying to hold. I don't know if we're going to get any of those moves down on Alibaba, so potentially maybe a little bit greedier is what's necessary at some point. But for right now, Alibaba is trying to hold the highs up 5%, and that's a pretty darn good move. But the market's trying to pull in a little bit, and we did get some more out of Disney. So I just had to tell you that because it just went up to VWAP again. So not an overly exciting trade here for Disney, but we made the mistake early of getting in on some action, and then it pulled back, and that was the much better trade there off the 50 period. And Bitcoin is still down here.
Speaking of,
I didn't even think about crypto there, to be honest with you. I was like, well, let me see what else we can trade. But there it is, Bitcoin right there at 63 and change. I'm going to go grab some water and come back and see GameStop at $45.
As we have GameStop, AMC, and some similar names making these climbs, Bitcoin also making a nice little move to the upside for itself here, bouncing off of that 60.5 area that we had throughout the weekend and making a bit of a climb yesterday, but really continuing this move to the upside today, just brushing up against that 63,000 as Sean just noted there as well. BTC up about 2.5%, almost 3%. Ethereum up more modest 1% here, just below that 3,000 area. Smaller gains here in Solana, BNB, Cardano, but nice upside moves for Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, both up around 7%. So Bitcoin, no slouch when it comes to items making moves to the upside today, guys.
thank you very much there, Dara. Looks like Novavax just joined the breaking out the top party. Didn't give you a dip into 11s, but nice consolidation breakout here on NVAX. We saw this has like a big, it's like 32% short interest. I know there's obviously other sources out there. I think some of them have it a little bit bigger. Generally speaking, when you take a one late here, when it makes the first level move, which is the quarters into the evens, I want to tighten the stop up. So I'm going to give it to like 11, 50, like just underneath that 60 level. Don't want a winner to turn into a loser. AMC still holding right around VWAP. I'm short at 42. It's at 43, so not a heck of a lot happening there. And then, of course, the leader, whatever you want to call it, the Don Data at this point, if you're in that sort of thing, making some higher lows on GameStop. If it takes out the top, I wanted to be in. Novavax has a lot of room to run, big time short float. But if this does fail into VWAP, I'm holding AMC pretty much all day. All these chip names, big disappointment. I've just canceled my AMD breakout trade. Clearly, you're not getting the breakout here on AMD. It's just not happening. Broke underneath VWAP, so that looks pretty nasty. And then NVIDIA, we mentioned this was going on in NVIDIA. Couldn't get past 900. It just failed VWAP. Oddly enough, when the ones everybody likes are weak-ish, Intel is at the high, up 4% today. However, there's always a but. The but is it's getting into resistance. So you're about 20, 30 cents away from the spot that usually I'm short Intel. Breaks 31, and we'll look for the pullback as well. Joel, you're absolutely right. Before we get back to Adara, Reddit up 12%. Obviously, this is going to be an adjacent to GameStop move. Volume's much, much better than it was pre-market. I didn't think you could trade this pre-market. I'd be very, very careful above 60. If GameStop can't make another push through 34, I don't think you want to be buying this one on the highs. It's just very much a sympathy play, but VWAP looking pretty solid there. I'm picking AMC for my short there in the memes. I'm already in Lucid. And then Novavax was just a breakout play on a short flow sympathy. Still waiting on Baba at VWAP. That seems to not want to pull back for us to get back in. Let's go to Adara.
Solar names also on watch here today amidst that otherwise upward push in some of these heavily shorted companies. We have Solar Edge, this one actually getting a downgrade this morning, still up almost 7%. So nice look for SCDG, 14% short float. We also have SunPower, another solar company here, up 20% with a 20% short float. So nice move up here for some of these solar companies with short floats, guys.
Maybe it's not a horrible idea. So I went in the back there and I ran into my good friend Michael, and I was getting the honey lemon ginger combo, and he goes, no, my friend. Old Chinese medicine, mint.
Yeah.
So we've got the peppermint going on here. He looked at me like I was crazy with the honey lemon ginger. I like it, tends to work. So we're gonna salute to everybody with their mint. I don't know. I've never really had peppermint tea. I probably have, but not one of my favorites. We'll try it. We'll try it. So, all right. Just quickly here, Disney pulling back, GameStop. I'm sure, Neil, we've all probably talked about this a lot for you guys. So, I'm probably going to use the 50-period moving average. And then if it moons after that, like, I like to sort of set my orders and forget them. And you know what? Like, if this comes back down to the downside, I don't want to sit here and like watch sort of a lot of this capital get depreciated when we've seen already this $33. We've already had a great trade here, I feel like. So maybe a pullback to 29-ish. I got to put my order in now and decide like ASAP if this is something I want to do. Just looking at like a 3 and a 5 and all that. Yeah, VWAP is down there at 29 anyways. So we're into those levels now. So a little bit of a break back down through 29. Let me just put that order in right now to get out of that one. So a break back below 29. And we'll punch out of it. I'm going to use a limit order so we don't get like completely railroaded, but that's going to be something for me to look at. 28.50 or so out here for GameStop. Remember the spread too, guys.
Yeah, and with GameStop back underneath that hull price, I just tightened my stop to essentially right here on Novavax. I'm reacting to every kind of move. And it's just holding the top end of the range. I still want it to break out, but if GameStop holds down or pushes down, I want to make sure that I'm not kind of trapped in there with a wider stop. You can always adjust if you want to. I just got some out on AMC, starting to pull back underneath VWAP. So, we sat that in that short. We just basically waited for GameStop to be under the hull price. And then when it came down, we get some out. If it goes back up, I'll only add to it if GameStop is looking weak in that moment. Still nothing on Alibaba. Baba's got a lot of time, so I think we can, like I said, we can be patient with this, but it is now just holding the highs right where we got out at 84.50. It's just kind of chilling out there and not a heck of a lot happening. So I'd like to get back into this, but I'm not chasing the high of the day on Alibaba. And as was rightfully pointed out by a few of the viewers, Pinduoduo also going adjacent to Alibaba, but one of the reasons to be patient on Baba is look at PDD now. Underneath VWAP, already pulling back much further than Baba did. So if that happens to Alibaba, I don't want to be in early, and then all of a sudden we got a bad price. Adara?
Looks like there is a catalyst for Tesla, though this came around 10:15, so a bit after this initial move. But we did have Xinhua reporting that Tesla's new mega factory has been granted a construction permit in Shanghai. So this news coming out a little bit later. Also lots of social media attention for Tesla, but this is a catalyst to keep in mind as well today for TSLA that I just saw, guys.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, look, any sort of positive news out of China, I think, helps rally a lot of these names because there's so much negativity surrounding the idea of China and all that. I mean, you saw Starbucks with a pretty big miss there as they had under sales as well. They're, wow, back up to 76. We had mentioned that 72 buy zone, if you sort of zoom this back out. It's too bad I should have got involved there. Maybe we'll look over at some Dutch Bros. It might even be more than this. Yeah, look how long ago that $72 level was for Starbucks. Come on. Where is that level? Oh my God, it must have been way under. I thought we had talked about 72 a lot of time. Yeah, here it comes right again. Let's zoom this back out. So there it is, man, $72. That goes all the way back to 2022. So some good little levels there on Starbucks to watch out for. Okay, so SoFi was actually fine. We wound up getting some out, but there it goes. We do get out now of SoFi, and let's zoom back in a little bit for that, as it does finally take out that top. So we had sort of got out of probably 75% of this, as we already lost on Robinhood. That idea didn't work out for us. So now I'm starting to get bullish now all of a sudden again. So, you know, the market really sort of withstood that first move down. And then since then, we've just sort of been hovering around VWAP. We're holding the 50-period moving average. We're still above even 18.2. I mean, if you're going to look at the NASDAQ, we had 8 straight up days in the Dow. We talked about 3 straight positive weeks for the NASDAQ. And we're still above the 50-period. We're still above everything here, man. 18,250. That 18,000's nowhere near now. I'm pretty positive about the market. So, I mean, I don't know. So far, so good. I just want, and also, just because we often don't talk about, you know, share size or anything like that. Even right now, so I lost about like 2 or 3% on SoFi and Hood, what we made on GME, if not less than that. So all the focus today, and I talked about this, for me was on GME. So whatever I lost on NVDA, NVIDIA was nothing. Hood and SoFi, yeah, I was in NVIDIA early at 900, then I got out. Oh, it was on that China news right here.
Oh, yeah.
Right here, yeah. So I got in, and then I was like, oh my God, it's going against me. And it came back, and I was able to get out for flat, which now, I don't know, I'm still happy about it, but it did rip up there. Anyways, it just goes to show you about managing an expectation on a stock. Oh, this just halted, by the way.
GameStop halted down again.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. So if it breaks through, so my trigger was 29 and change. 28 and change. It looks like that's going to hit immediately right now, because there's the 50 period. I should have been more aggressive looking at that 50, because obviously it's changing. But right there, VWAP is still pretty consistent in and around 29. So that's the idea for me, is that level. So let's wait to see what happens here with GME. Disney's the only one I have left on board right now. So long.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, me and Neil do not think you did, Ramin. Check the logs back there.
No, it is 10:40. It is time for Sector Watch, although I'm not sure I heard it in my ear until just now either, Ramin. But let's go over to Adara to see what's going on.
Do not question Ramin, though. She did say it.
Really interesting look in these tech sectors. Some weakness in some of these mega cap names: Microsoft, Google, Meta, NVIDIA, a little bit weaker here. Especially worth noting Microsoft, Google, and Apple, which is pretty strong. All 3 of those on watch heading into 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's when we're supposed to get that OpenAI event, which could have some interesting implications for all those companies. So keep an eye on that. Apple, Broadcom, a lot of these chip names very strong here. Intel notably strong on reports that Intel is in deep talks with Apollo for $11 billion financing for this Ireland plant. So nice look there for INTC. Health technology, kind of a mixed sector here. Finance a bit mixed to weak. Producer manufacturing pretty weak. Consumer services also a bit more of a mixed picture. But we have some strength in consumer durables led by Tesla, getting apparently this regulation approval for this Shanghai plant, or at least for permits. Also a nice move up here in process industries, utilities, consumer non-durables as well. So lots of sectors to keep an eye out here, guys. Lots going on in this market, of course.
Oh, man.
Thank you very much there, Adara. Elon in the chat, what do you think why Oracle is so lame lately?
Go, man, go.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like Oracle has kind of, like the cloud move for Oracle already happened in terms of the recovery. It's just been essentially trending down, waiting for a catalyst. It feels like when the market pullback, during this earnings season, you basically need to blow it out of the water, and then, go from there. Unfortunately for Oracle, people aren't as excited in where the growth is going to come from. Like they've already made the move. Like where is the next wave of growth going to come for them? There's the bigger cloud names, which obviously everyone is going to be involved in. But I just feel like it's fallen asleep. And anybody that wanted to put money into the rally and the recovery in Oracle kind of already did and has been reaping those benefits. So as far as I'm concerned, when you get back underneath the 50 period on the long term, that's when it doesn't have the excitement, and suddenly it's just, nobody really cares about this name until they do something again or have good news. Maybe wait till the next earnings cycle. I put things in the penalty box typically when they can't hold back above the 50 period. It's something even Danielle Shea was talking about, and I feel like it's just kind of in that penalty box. Right now, you're still halted on GameStop. You'll be open in about 1 minute or so. So I said I'm getting back into AMC on the halt, on the tight stop, but I don't want this going higher on me. So I had a break-even stop on it essentially right away, because if this starts to go higher before GameStop opens up, I don't want to be holding it to the top without GameStop open. Tesla was a great short at 125 if you were in it. I just saw that in the chat there, DJK. That said, I mean, at that moment when Tesla turned,
Nice.
it's weird, but the meme stocks kind of turned as well. And it feels like that was weirdly adjacent. And unless you were thinking that going into it, I don't know why you would have been looking Tesla short, unless you were just attaching it to the meme names. That's exactly what worked out there. I liked Rivian and Lucid. I was in Rivian for the first move down on GameStop, but now Rivian kind of holding on to some strength. Lucid, on the other hand, is a sympathy play. Looks like it should have been the good one underneath VWAP here. So I kind of feel like Lucid is the better of the EV names to fade. Obviously, they're all weak in the long term, but underneath VWAP, as long as we're not breaking highs on Tesla or Rivian, I feel like this is going to be the safer one to hang on to. We're going to be open in, like we said, in GameStop in a matter of seconds there. We'll see what happens. I'm not predicting where it's going to open. It currently says flat, but if it does start going to the downside, I suddenly prefer Lucid more than I like Rivian or like Tesla or any of the other EV ones. And then COS is another one we'd try, but COS is already at the low of the day. GameStop opened back up. Looks like it's flat for now and trying to head higher.
Okay, we're in Google right now. I just put an offer a little bit higher. All right, so where is my GME? Here it is. All right, $30.27, bouncing exactly off VWAP. So it's all good, baby, because this is not all a dream. You're watching live GameStop trading. You're not, I mean, honestly, these are multiple fills, multiple outs, talked all about different levels. We're out if this breaks 28, whatever that level was right there. I'm not here to gamble. Like, you know, we've really talked about these trades, why we like them, where we've liked them. So for me, man, that's going to be my stop area for GameStop. So let's just put that bad boy in right now. $27.99. If we break that, then we are gone like Donkey Kong immediately out of that. So let's wait to see what happens. Break of that, and we're gone on, oops, that's not a mock, that's to be an out. $28 break, and we're out of this one. So far, so good on that. We're going to put that stop in right now, $27.99 out of 100%. Push offer, it's now accepted. So that's that. Now I don't have to worry about it. We can look at other things. All right, so Disney. I mean, Disney started going there, by the way. It got into 30s. That was the best fill that we've had, was 35, 36. We're long here below. We're long at 92. But our first trade was all the way up there. So I know, Neil, you were looking at
900.
You were looking at shorting AMC, but GameStop right now is pulling back a little bit with AMC at 355. But you just mentioned NVIDIA going to the upside. I wanted to short. We can go over there. I'm shorting Google now because it's down 2. All right, so I'm trying to find something that's relatively weak in case the market wants to pull back. But I am obviously acknowledging that the market's not doing anything. So in lack of GameStop doing much, let's go back over, have some fun here, and see if we can make a little bit of money with Google, trying the short rate now.
Oh, every single time we come over for a break, and I'm like, it's about to break on any stock, that's exactly when it starts dipping and the break doesn't happen until... I know what's going to happen. 900's not going to break on NVIDIA till like 11:01 when we send you guys to the midday.
Yeah.
But it's at 80. It's at 898. AMD's taken VWAP. I do like a VWAP dip buy on AMD, but right now it looks like breaking 900 could be the next play on NVIDIA. All right, I'm watching paint dry at this moment, so whatever. I like AMD off of VWAP in here. It just made a higher low wick, 152.40. So I'm on the bid in the 60s. and we'll give it into this level, kind of a tight stop underneath VWAP. If AMD fills first, probably means that NVIDIA hasn't broken that 900 level. I think that's kind of obvious. We'll see what happens next. Alibaba, pretty much a nothing burger. GameStop is back at that VWAP. I'm looking over. AMC's taking out high, so I think we had the right idea to get out of that and just see what happens with the halt on GameStop, because GameStop going lower, AMC going higher, no need to be in it. Rivian looks like it's trying to hold up. Lucid, for my money, I don't know if we can still get this at VWAP, but I think this one in front of VWAP is where I need to reload. As if GameStop's going lower, I want something adjacent to it.
There we go.
But look at cost. Like, cost is already at the low of the day here. Like, there's no point even trying that. VWAP, at least there's room to go on Lucid, but there's no point getting costs. It's already retraced everything.
So it looks like we are now out of GameStop. So congratulations to everybody there today that was able to put some damage into your account on the positive side, at least, for GameStop or anybody. Remember we said like the shorts were going to print on this too, and they've had just as much opportunity, man. That's $8, $10 straight to the downside off that wick top. So again, that's an indicator generally. And there it comes back into the downside. So we got out on a 28 break. We didn't get any slippage whatsoever because it was ran right into a halt level. So 27.90 we got out there, 27.94 we got out. So now we'll wait to see what happens here for GameStop. Again, not huge, right? Our last little take there was just $5, but we did have a nice move there into $8, and we were basically YOLOing this thing up at 37. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't know if I'll have a stock that's going to be bigger than this, but for right now, GameStop, by far, the P&L winner here. We're going to see what happens with Google now. Hopefully we can put some damage on this name as well, coming back in. But we already said, like, I don't think there'll be a stock that will move like GME today, but...
No, wow.
Well, maybe. It could just be getting ramped up. I don't... It's only 10.50, you know, so... We haven't had that many trades today.
Novavax is going.
Well, so we've only had 50 fills today, which is like sounding the alarm. Am I feeling okay? But again, 50 fills, and it's a great position to be in. So we're happy where we are, man. It's not a huge green day around here unless you were really trading GameStop. So far so good. GameStop by far the #1 name here. So all right, let's go back over to the desk with Adara now and see what's Money's talking about.
DXY continuing to trade in a pretty interesting range here, coming back to that previous support area around that 105. We got this as support in November 2023 a couple times as resistance, most recently serving as support last week. So definitely getting into a tighter range here is the US dollar. Worth noting as well, we did pretty light day for economic data today, nothing major to speak of, but we did get some comments from Fed's Jefferson saying a lot of what we heard the last couple weeks from the Fed, saying there was some progress in inflation and it has retreated to some extent, but it's still a source of concern. And Fed Jefferson also saying that it's appropriate to keep the policy rate restrictive until clear inflation is quote unquote ebbing, and also that we need to maintain the policy rate in a quote restrictive territory for the time being. Also making some comments about the dot plot, saying that it can be an important tool when interpreted properly. So some comments coming from Fed Jefferson. No more Fed scheduled to speak today, though tomorrow we'll have Fed's Cook at 9:10 and Fed Chair Powell at 10 a.m. That'll definitely be something to watch out for. Tomorrow as well, we have U.S. PPI followed by CPI on Wednesday. So lots of economic data and Fed speak to check out heading into the rest of the week, guys.
Appreciate it, Adara. NVIDIA did make that break of 900. You see I got 20s to the long side. It got to 01s. Now starting to pull back. I also got AMD off VWAP. But that break, you can take a breakout trade, especially this time in the day. If it doesn't want to go right away, I do not need to hold on to it. If it comes back into VWAP, maybe we'll get like a 98 similar to what we're seeing over there in AMD. But either it holds a bid, 900, and we look for a re-entry in here, or we wait around for some kind of a bullish move off of VWAP. Again, everyone do your own thing. I always scalp out on a breakout trade, the first push up. Just give me something at that first dollar, whatever that initial candle is, and then throw the stop in just underneath the break even. If it goes right away in one shot, great. If it doesn't, fair enough. I am in AMD in the different circumstances. This is a stair step to the upside situation on advanced micro devices. So we said we'd grab that one off VWAP. We're going to get some out in front of 153 and then go from there. Apple, I feel like it's been forever since we even mentioned Apple. So I feel like Apple is about like how I feel about Alibaba. Like I want VWAP, I want it to dip by, but Apple doesn't want to go anywhere but upside. I don't want to be chasing this move. Unfortunately, we didn't get any longs in Apple today, despite that being one of the ideas at the open. You know when the memes are going, you're gonna have your attention on over there, which is the fair thing to do. That's what you want to have happen. So I don't know if we get this VWAP on Apple. Same thing, Alibaba is just, now it's barcoding. There might not be another trade in Alibaba today, the way it's going sideways. But if you had it early, great. Same thing with Apple. You basically had to have those off the schneid, and that was more or less.
Here we go.
AMD is the newest trade off of VWAP here. We'll see if we can get into the highs. Zai asking a firm short. Remember, it's a meme name, so I'd be a little bit careful with the firm shorts, because that's just going probably in sympathy to some of the others.
NVIDIA, $2 right now. So we've got it. We took the 900. We took a dip buy as well. We're long at $899.60 right now. So it's coming up to $2 in the money. This is another sticky note trade, 900 long. Let's see if it works out, man. I mean, VWAP is right here right now for the market. So maybe we get an upside push here for NVIDIA, sorry. Here we go, let's go. We're sitting right here. Can we make $3 winner for you again? This is why I told you we don't stop. I said we'd be on GameStop. Bang, Sharif, we just put $3 in our pocket again on NVIDIA in 2 minutes. So there it goes back up there to the upside, man. We are definitely a fuego right now. Nice move upside here for NVIDIA as it just continues to go. Right there, Disney as well, trying to go. Google, we got a piece out on the bottom there as well. Man, Neil, what a show. We destroy NVIDIA for now and GameStop for now. Two big names today, NVIDIA, GameStop, both the only sticky note trades that we have on board, and they're PL1 and 2. So far so good here, man. Let's go upside now for NVIDIA. I mean, I want to try to hold this one as well. If the market actually rallies, we talked about how resilient this market is. Where is exactly the top of NVIDIA? Trust me, it's not 908. It's a hell of a lot higher. So let's have some confidence in these trades. We talk about that all the time. We're sitting in Disney, we're sitting in NVIDIA, and we potentially had too much confidence in GameStop. But not really. We put the money in our pocket. It's like when we got that super chat, the guy made 17 grand. Hey, if you get out at the very top, you make a little bit more. And if you get out right now, you make a little bit less.
That guy took the Halt trade too, which is...
Yeah, big trade.
That's
same one that you had.
That's like taking out that... It was also a break of the high. Like, technically, I know it halted upside, but it was also like a high break, like a right off the open. Look, Novavax is continuing to go through it. I feel like the meme move just went from GameStop potentially in an NVAX here, is that's now up 50% or 47% and still going. If you're wondering where the high is, basically Friday's high is $14 on Novavax. Someone just asked what's the top on Novavax. I mean, Friday it went to 14, so Friday's level is the only one. You got to pull it out ridiculously far on the daily chart to find any key levels on this price. If it gets through 14, then this one could be the transfer of squeeze at this point. They were threatening going bankrupt, and then they got a deal from Sanofi, and it was a lot of money. It was like $500 million, something like that, when the market cap was like $500 million. So that's the reason for this one also going to the upside. The shorts are getting squeezed today, but a 14 level is what you got to get to on Novavax, and then you're breaking out some highs. With GameStop underneath VWAP, I feel like this is the next shoe to drop, would be that 14 level. If it pulls back, I think you go dips in 12. I had this as a sympathy long, and when GameStop pulled back, I got out. Probably should have thought about that the memes are jumping over to this one, and then got back into it when it retook that high break. So we'll look for a dip buy on Novavax. Could just break 14 right out, though, or outright.
We're having a problem now because Google's really getting excited here when the market's doing nothing. So it looks like this short idea was not a one for longer of a play. Market actually going down. I picked the weakest name, and it's going up. So we're going to have to discuss this, Google, and get out. So if this breaks 165.50, which is going to do right now, then we're punching out. I do have some bids lower in case it sort of hits down. There it is. In case it sort of hits downside. So there we go. We will have to just slap a fail on this. I don't know. I mean, Google started going. We picked a relatively weak name there, I thought, and it started going back up to the upside. So NVIDIA still trying to go, man. This is still $2 in the money. We're still cooking on this. So all is well over on this side. But we did just take an L there in Google. So we'll talk about real trading, man. up on SoFi, up on NVIDIA, down on Hood, down on Google, GME. GME, look nowhere else. Okay, look nowhere else. See this shiny thing over here? Well, this is GME. All right, Disney, again, Disney flat, basically, and that's that. So today will be a big day. We've talked about it, so we don't have to keep going, but so far so good. And look what's happening in NVIDIA. Another sticky note name. Have faith. I always hear Adara talk about confidence. I mean, what else? What else are we even doing here? This is the sticky note. 900 dip buy long for NVIDIA. Okay, I mean, we got out of it there. Instead of a dip buy, we were able to get it on the way back up. It broke 900, then dip bought into 900. Like we did exactly what we said we would do. There's the break, there's the dip buy 900, there's the dip buy 899, and the rest, as they say, is history. With a GME long, Apple long, didn't get into, NVIDIA long, ARM 110, if that comes through, great, and then Alibaba. So, I mean, what a day. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Make sure you do hit the like, the subscribe, and all of that. And if you're having fun now, make sure you do check out Real Trading as well. Go to realtrading.com. You can get all the shorts, all of this stuff, relatively cheap. That's what allowed us to do some of this damage here today. But although I didn't go short anything today, other than Hood and SoFi, which were completely borrowable. And by the way, boom, right back in right now. We get out there, so it's all good, but Robinhood is now pulling back in, and probably our friend SoFi as well. So there you go. Remember we always say this? There is Sean Katina taking the worst fill of the day. So thank you for that. But at the same time, you know, we know what we're doing, and we're still putting up numbers. So there it is, SoFi out there at the high of the day. You're welcome, whoever got that fill.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, a winner's a winner. If you don't have a stop on SoFi, like what if SoFi, I mean, it's probably not going to squeeze like GameStop, but you got to have a stop somewhere, especially when you're holding on to that last piece, right? Like whether you trail it. I love trailing stops when you're in the money. Maybe you move it around a little bit, but you got to have it out. Speaking of, back through 13, Novavax just put a dip. It just got to 1280 on a dip, and I had it on the way back through 13 on the way up. But the second it got into 1-to-1, it immediately started to pull back down in. And GameStop's starting to go again, so we'll see. I have my stop down here at 1280. GameStop is also starting to go. We do have Novavax. But these have been the two biggest percentage-wise squeeze names. Now that you're back above VWAP here, I'm going 28 stop, and we'll get VWAP long.
All right, here we go. We're back into GameStop right now. Long 29.24. Roaring Kitty is back at it. Here we go. Nice little move back up to the upside for GameStop. If we could put more money in our pocket right now, let's get out of a third of this GME position in and around 30 bucks. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. We're back in this name. We're not just one-trick ponies. We already averaged this in 3 times. And we'll get back into it now and try to use some of these areas as our out one more time. So like a break below this 27, I know it's so obvious. I'm trying to make trading as simple as possible. Trying to trade less names, the best setups possible, and then give you guys an opportunity to look at what I'm doing and say, okay, this is what's happening. Trying to risk management. So here we go, GameStop. We're gonna get a piece out at 90 if we can. We could just take it out right now, maybe not a bad idea, but there it is, a nice upside move here, just temporarily for GameStop as volume starts to pick back up in this name. But remember, it's been real weak, man. I mean, like since 10 o'clock, it really hasn't been able to go. There was one moment where we halted and got going, but after that, it's been a weak name. So at this point, you're really just like...
Well, keep in mind though,
it's a little late.
It is past 11 o'clock. I knew this was going to happen. We'll get to the midday. This is still above the original halt price and breakout. I know it's under VWAP, but this is $27. It was that first halt upside. And look where it bounced. So when you go from like those halt to halt levels, it's still respecting it. I'm in Novavax. Oh, I just got filled. Novavax just took the high of the day as well. But it's been a fun one. It's been a wild one. It ain't over by a long shot. We'll be back at 2 o'clock, and who knows? GameStop could be at $40. GameStop could be at $20. AMC could be at anything as well. Let's just see what happens and enjoy the ride as we take you on over to the professor and Adara. I don't know what the lesson is this week, but I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic one, and there's plenty you can learn. Even if you're just paying attention and watching some of these squeeze plays and halts for the first time, and there's a lot that we can gain from this. So let's get to the midday. It's been a fun one. Whew, take a breath. We'll be back.
Yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Well,